Razorback, isn't it the greatest mascot of all time?
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. KERX, Paris Fort Smith.
2 seconds, 1 second, he lets fly with a shot.
From the Busch Light Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
You know, we've got a great offensive line coach, the same one that led the Power 5 in rushing 2 years ago, and the same one that everybody tries to get it when the season's over with. Off the field, I have several questions about what we're doing, how we're doing it, this, that, and other. I wanted to be conscious that I didn't want to overstep anybody's boundary as the offensive line coach because we've got a really good one. He'll get it fixed as good as anybody can.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McLarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
That was Coach Pittman's response when asked about how much input he has during the game and in practice in the offensive line. And you heard him there say publicly he still has a lot of confidence in Cody Kennedy. And I know that based on what's happened the first 5 games, a lot of you don't. And I don't blame you. The offensive line hasn't been great to this point in time. They're making some changes during practice. We'll see if those end up being the same things they do during the course of the game this Saturday night in Oxford, Mississippi. But they're not just sitting by and letting things happen. They're trying to adjust. They're trying to fix things. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition this Saturday night here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday, Tommy.
All right, that's where we begin here on Hump Day. Brought to you by The Fence Man, the company we trust when it comes to anything involving a fence. We had to build a fence around the radio station today. Well, we bring in a little fence man. He designed and custom build something exactly for our projects. If you find yourself building a new home or a new office location, commercial installation, or maybe your old, tired, sagging fence needs replaced, the Fence Man is the one to call. 782-3936. Wood privacy, vinyl fencing, chain link for commercial and residential, powered automatic gates anywhere you need them. 782-3936, the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
I guess I'll start with my beef not getting a chance to go to the red-white game tonight. I had some things I needed to take care of late afternoon and then later on tonight, so I'm not going to be able to attend. I know for a good chunk of you in Northwest Arkansas, you're going to pay a visit to Barnhill Arena. It's going to be a fun atmosphere. Things get going at 6:30 tonight when Coach Eric Musselman introduces the crowd, and then they will get the thing off and running at 6:40. Admissions free parking, and a good chunk around Barnhill Arena. Tommy, that's really my beef. You know how much I love basketball. They've got the teams set up on different sides. We'll talk about that coming up this morning. But I know we're, again, big week for Arkansas football. But my beef is just not getting to watch this basketball team firsthand, having to wait a couple weeks till that Purdue exhibition.
And it's always nostalgic, a throwback when you play anything in Barnhill that's basketball related. We, of a certain age, you've got memories. Those were childhood memories and teenage memories for me before they moved over to the home that a lot of you, in your age group, Ty, that's the only home you know. And so it's nostalgic and it's fun, but the one I really want to say, I know it's not the red white, but that Purdue game coming up at the end of the month in 24 days or whatever on the bye week on the 28th. That's the one that, I think a lot of people want to get to, and I'm not sure what have they announced. Maybe I just don't remember. Is there television plans for that?
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying time.
No, but those things have not always. When it went to Texas, they didn't stream it and put it on. If it's on, it's only going to be on. Streaming on the Razorback stuff. So I don't know if they'll do that or not, but so that everybody can see it that doesn't get there. But
SEC Plus,
all right,
is what it's at right now. Now that's subject to change,
right?
Depending on if there's a power outage,
yeah,
but
internet outage,
yeah. We'll see. I mean, For those that don't know, Purdue had the National Player of the Year in Zach Edey last year. They've got a couple other returnees. Matt Painter's one of the more underrated coach is in all of college basketball. So this is a marquee matchup that a lot of people should attend if you get a chance to. And some of you, I mean, a good bit of you don't have season tickets, and maybe whether it's a red-white game tonight, maybe it's the game on Saturday, or excuse me, the game coming up in a few weeks, the red-white game. It's an opportunity for the non-season ticket holders to watch this team, or just watch it on television. This is a game where you get to see a lot of new pieces, a lot of new players. They put out that graphic of the different teams tonight. I mean, L. Ellis, Chandler Lawson, some of the other transfers that he brought, Bayfall, the young freshman, Lane Blocker. I mean, these are guys you're excited to watch, not just as young players, but upperclassmen as well. My guy that I'm really excited about is Caleb Battle. I got a chance to interview him this summer. He's a sharpshooter. He didn't have much of that last season. He's the guy that I'm keeping an eye on this upcoming basketball year.
Any of them snap a football? Could any of them help at center this week? Guard or tackle? It's open auditions. Apparently, any of those on Musselman's teams got a little extra time to go. Maybe throw some blocks down. A different kind of block down over on the football field.
Not a lot of beef on this basketball team. I don't know how they would stack up at the SEC line
wide
scrimmage.
Receivers, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
But you heard Coach again talking about the offensive line. Patrick Kudos has been playing center the last couple days in practice, and again, the young man from Memphis, from Christian Brothers High School, trying to possibly switch positions. We know center, if not left tackle, center's the hardest position on the offensive line. So you're putting a lot of trust in a young man that hasn't played a lot of SEC snaps. But if he's capable, he's capable. They're shifting around, at least in practice. We'll see if they actually do it this Saturday night in Oxford, Mississippi. But I'm curious. We're going to hear from KJ Jefferson coming up. We're going to hear from Nathan Bax, Cam Ball, Jaden Johnson, just kind of their thoughts on what's been happening this week with maybe some of the changes that they've seen. It's always great to get a coach's perspective, but I also appreciate a player's perspective as well during game weeks.
Clay's going to be with us in the third hour. This will be a fun and interesting conversation because he's seen this before. This is not the first time Arkansas has tried to move around deck chairs, if you will, in the middle of the season on offensive line and, try to rearrange things. So we'll talk to Clay about that in a couple of hours. But, there's some risk that goes into doing this. Now you've practiced it a couple of days. Can you just, all right, well, we're not ready to take it to the field yet. We're not really ready to take it to a game. What do you do then? And then if you don't, what does it also say when you get there Saturday and what you practiced is not what you're going to play, or at least what you practiced all week or part of the week? I don't know. Who knows what they're going to do, behind closed doors. Who knows what they've done once the media has left practice as well. But I'll be interested to see if these practice moves we're allowed to see are what's put on the field during the game.
And I'll give Sam Pittman and Cody Kinney credit. And again, it's What's Your Beef Wednesday. A lot of you have beef with the offensive line. And I'm not going to push back on that based on what we've seen through 5 games. But they're not just sitting here and saying, this is the best we got, too stinking bad, we're just going to roll with this. They're at least on the surface. Again, we'll see what happens Saturday night. But on the surface, it looks like they're trying to tinker a little bit, which you have to. You have to in this situation when your quarterback is sacked 7 times, pressured, hurried, on his butt, 15 tackles for loss in the last game. And I know A&M has a good defensive line, but you're going to see some other talented defensive tackles and ends the rest of the way in the SEC, and you cannot put KJ in that situation like he was in Dallas, or he's not going to make it through the remaining 7 games.
All right, so a lot to get to. Your calls and texts on the McLarty Daniel hotline are always welcome. 877-377-6963 is our number. If you've got a beef on this Wednesday, let us know and share it here on the Morning Rush. We're brought to you by Phil Floats. Nothing says fall fishing as we head into the last few days of really what's summer-like weather. Then getting out on your favorite pond or creek with a Phil bobber with your kids or your grandkids. America's favorite floats by Phil are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by Pradco by the thousands right here in Arkansas. They're great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and redworms and just really create a lot of fun and some great family time. Find them at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LearnNet.com, and tackle stores everywhere. America's favorite floats by Phil.
Got plenty of things to go over this morning. We've got, again, more of your beefs that are welcome in on the McLarty Daniel hotline. We're going to announce who our high school player of the week was this past week. We've got a variety of things when it comes to the MLB playoffs, our NFL pick'em standings. Again, a lot to get into on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. I had a bunch of calls and texts yesterday. Feel free to chime in again this morning, whether you're a first-time caller or you're a typical caller. We'd love to have your opinion on all things football, all things whatever this morning on a Wednesday. When we come back, I want to talk about Rocket Sanders on the other side of the Morning Rush.
Behind Enemy Lines in Oxford is presented by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria in Fort Smith, the #1 place to watch football in the River Valley this fall.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
It's never scary when you buy from Harry Robinson, Buick, and GMC. Dependable service, deep and wide selection. Saving prices guaranteed. Professionals you can count on. Find what you're looking for. We're your Buick headquarters and a GMC truck superstar. It's never scary when you buy from Harry Robinson, Buick, and GMC.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Bow hunters, the season is here, and Gelco Outdoors has all the hunting supplies you will need. Cover scents, mosquito and tick repellent, headlamps, face masks, gloves, boots, clothing, ground blinds, blind chairs, feeders, nut grub, deer corn, feeders, saddle, hang-on, climbers, and ladder stands. Gelco has the largest selection of bows in the area. Good luck and safe hunting from your friends at Gelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
The Golf Nut has been Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994. Needing help with your game? Call Matt Brooks with over 10 years of experience in the golf industry. Call him today at 646-4430 and schedule a lesson using the simulator. The best selections of clubs like Callaway Paradigm, TaylorMade Stealth 2, and Peen G430, along with a wide assortment of shoes, apparel, and golf bags. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, your one-stop shop for everything golf.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. JodysAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Third down, here comes LSU. KJ, flush, rolling right, keeps his eyes downfield, throwing deep, got Has at the 20, to the 15, to the 10, 5, touchdown Arkansas. There's your play. 59 yards to Luke Has.
Subscribe to the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
It really is unfortunate that we will not hear another Chuck Barrett highlight of Luke Has at any other point this season. I know Coach said he might be back for a bowl game. We'll have to wait and see to that point. At least regular season, we're not going to hear him. So I mentioned Rocket Sanders before the break. Heard from Coach Pittman and KJ last night on your star running back. I want to talk about his impact coming back, plus get to some calls and texts on the McLarty Daniel hotline coming up in just a sec.
Brought to you by friends at Sassy's, talking about all the fun stuff to do, places to go. Sassy's is one of those places for game days. And Saturday night, man, the weather is going to be beautiful. We've been talking about those high temperatures in the 60s and 70s later this week.
Man.
Imagine sitting on the patio Saturday, watching college football at either Sassy's location in Fayetteville. You can get there and get a seat early and watch the Arkansas Razorbacks and Ole Miss on Saturday night. Tender brisket. I'd start off, of course, with those award-winning smoked wings. Honey Sriracha's our favorite flavor. The other thing, we talk about the brisket, the ribs, the wings, all this stuff. They got a great selection of sides. And their seasoned waffle fries are kind of their house specialty. They got a bunch of other stuff. My favorite is the sweet potato tots.
With the little either honey or syrup.
I mean, it's bigger than a thimble, but it's not a full thing of like some caramel, sugar, or something. Man, that's the best deal going as far as a side. And it's sweet potatoes. So, Ty, what's that mean?
Healthy.
It's got to be healthy for you. Sweet potato tots. So try any of it. They can put together their Razor Packs for tailgate parties or home watch parties and enjoy it all. And when it comes to catfish, burgers, barbecue, and more, it's all there at Sassy's. 2 locations in Fayetteville. On College, the original Red House, just off the Weddington exit on Steamboat. Eat, drink, and be sassy.
All right, first call of the morning on the McLarty Daniel hotline goes to Smack Daddy in Greenwood, the Cookie Man. Smack Daddy, what's going on, man?
What's going on, boys? How are we this morning?
Missing some of them cookies your lovely wife made us. Man, those were great.
What's funny is I've been taking orders for work for cookies this weekend. We got banana pudding cookies and M&M cookies this weekend. So
I take orders at my house, but it's different kind of orders usually. So.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I get to help with all the cleaning of this stuff.
Yeah. Mine's the dishes and the laundry.
Hey, guys, my beef for this morning is about the game Saturday, but it is a completely different reason than anybody else's beef. My beef is with the ESPN announcers and the fact that they gushed and gushed and gushed over Max Johnson's dad, Brad Johnson.
Oh.
Every single time he threw a pass, they panned to the audience and was, oh my gosh, look how great he looks in his Texas A&M shirt. Look how big his arms are. Oh my gosh, did y'all know that at a game he took his shirt off one time and oh my gosh, oh look how he's sitting in that seat with those arms so beefy and stuff. I wanted to just like call and be like, could y'all go make out with him at halftime and get it out of your system?
But let's be honest, and if we're all just honest, if we look like that, we'd hope they put us on TV a bunch too.
How old is Brad Johnson now? Like in his 50s?
I mean, don't get me wrong, dude had some bulge to his arms, but I mean, come on, it was worse than Taylor Swift. At least she looks good.
You know who ought to be pissed over that deal? Is Jason Witten, who was sitting next to him that got none of the love, and he was the much better player. He was a much better player.
that's what I told a buddy of mine at work. I was like, were there no other parents at the game? Like, what about the other kids?
Well,
I'd be like, how come they're not showing my dad on TV?
I bet you.
I bet there weren't two NFL players sitting side by side.
Yeah, and I'll say this weekend, KJ's mom is definitely going to get some love. I don't know what new shirt she's going to sport in honor of her son, but I guarantee you with Sardis, Mississippi being, 40 miles from Oxford, they will pan to her. If KJ plays like he did 2 years ago and he's going to need some help, they will plan to her plenty of times. But I get your point. Here's the thing. One, you're not the national story in that game on Saturday. Texas A&M was, and it'll be the same way this weekend. Ole Miss is coming off a big-time win. They've got Alyssa Lane, Cole Kublik, and Tom Hart on the call for SEC Network. They will talk more about Ole Miss than they will Arkansas. Now, if you beat them, they'll talk more about Arkansas, of course, but more of the focus during the course of that game is going to be on the home team, the ranked team, the better team. Give them a reason to talk about you this Saturday. Pretty simple.
Well, I may wind up having to just mute my TV again. Man,
I'll help you. Let me help you with this, Smack Daddy. Pause your TV, sync it up with hitthatline.com, or I guess you're in Greenwood, so ESPN 95.3, and listen to Chuck, Quinn, and Gino. It will be a much better broadcast than anything you'll have the rest of the remaining 7 games, at least in regular season.
Sounds definitely good to me. You guys have a great one. I'll holler at you later.
All right, brother. Good talking with you. All right, back to the McCarty Daniel hotline. Ben is in Fort Smith. Ben, welcome into the program.
Hey, it's Vinny and Barling. So that's first-time caller, so I'm going to be a brand new here. Grew up in Fayetteville. And listen, here's the deal. KJ is better than what we've seen, correct?
I would probably say so.
What do you ask? What are you driving at?
I'm not blaming the offensive line. He's more mobile, and I just want to see what you guys think about maybe him not being 100%.
Well, I know Coach has spoken to that. I would say, you saw him in the LSU game, and I know LSU doesn't have an elite defense like we're accustomed to, but he's 21 of 31, had 3 touchdowns, and looked pretty good for the majority of that game. Was he perfect? No, but he did enough to help to almost get you a win. That's the KJ Jefferson I'm used to seeing. Chuck always refers to him having kind of the Matt Jones aura around him. If he's in the game, you have a chance to win, and if he's playing well, which he was in Baton Rouge. And we know how much this game means to him in Oxford, Mississippi, being as close as it is as North Panola High School, where he went and graduated from, wasn't heavily recruited to an in-state school that I would guess he probably had some interest in. So if he plays like he did against LSU, probably has to play better, Tommy, in order for them to beat Ole Miss based on what Dart and that offense is going to do on the other side.
But to the question, is he 100%? No. But there's not many on the field that have played 5 games at this point that are 100%. So
good point.
Is he injured? Is he hurt? I don't know. Clearly no one brings this up, like you said, after a good performance at LSU. It's only after a game where there's a lot of problems. Now, you get sacked 7 times. There's 15 tackles for loss. There's all these problems that he had. He got hit a bunch that was not recorded in those.
Great.
Yeah. Did he have a lot of time in the ice bath this week? That's just obvious. Mm-hmm. So. I don't expect him to be probably better this week going into the game than he was last week. But that just goes with the territory. You think Jackson Dart's not probably feeling it a bit more after their game last week?
Well, he didn't get sacked once.
So, but it's just another game of wear and tear is my point.
Yeah.
So no one. The idea of being 100% right now is just not
reasonable.
And that's just obvious.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that has to be stated. Anyone that just watches knows that's not the case. All right, we're brought to you by APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group. If you're looking for a new gig, new job, and you've got some skills, they're looking for you. Jobs.crh.com. You can look on the interactive map. They need licensed CDL drivers. You've been over the road. You've been doing these things, not home at night. Hey, come over and work for Standard Materials Group and APAC Arcola. They'll give you plenty of work, and you'll be home at night. There's no over the road. There's no being gone, none of that stuff. And steady work with great pay, great benefits, and a great company, and the room for advancement, for promotion, and better jobs along the way. Jobs.crh.com. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC is an equal opportunity employer.
Richard Davenport joins us next.
Behind Enemy Lines in Oxford is presented by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria in Fort Smith, the #1 place to watch football in the River Valley this fall.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Great to be on here with you guys. I think you guys do awesome work, and I really enjoy listening to you.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we are rolling out Rath Auto Relief. Now through midnight on Halloween, get up to $1,500 Rath cash when you purchase any one of our Rath Road Ready vehicles. Use it to pay your sales tax, get extra for your trade, or just take it right off the price. Plus, follow us on Facebook for fun-free giveaways every week. Rath Auto Relief. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, Fort Smith.
There's a new flavor coming out of the Hardee's Craft Kitchen, Nashville Hot Chicken. Juicy 100% white meat chicken dipped in buttermilk, hand-breaded and seasoned to bring the heat. Try the crispy, spicy goodness in chicken tenders on a famous Hardee's made-from-scratch biscuit or a sandwich. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Hardee's new Nashville Hot hand-breaded chicken is goodness in the making. For limited time at participating restaurants. Exclusions may apply by time of day.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing, and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Tommy. And I had a complete brain lock.
Jefferson off play action. Going to throw a little screen pass left side. Has completed the 5 into the end zone. Touchdown, Arkansas. Luke has from 11 yards out, and Arkansas's a PAT away from time.
The Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. You can listen to it at hitthatline.com or wherever you hear your favorite podcasts.
I always wonder what recruiting conversations are like during the course of a losing streak. Now, Arkansas has been through this before. Cam Ball, KJ Jefferson, Jaden Johnson, and the guys were touching on that a little bit last night. They're on campus. But what about the guys off campus that you're trying to get to campus? Well, Richard Davenport, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat, said we're going to have him on in just a sec, kind of get the details and other things coming up.
Sorry, I'm distracted here. I'm texting with a buddy of mine, asking him what time the Cubs play. And because he's been rubbing it in the Cardinals' faces all year long, and so
how close did they come, Big C?
I mean, they were.
Here you go. Start making excuses.
They were like neck and neck with the Marlins, and
you guys lost out to the Marlins.
Yeah, as like
the
final.
The Cardinals were terrible. I mean, I give you that, but in the end, the same result, right? Both at home.
What the bed the last couple weeks.
Well, we all know what Cubs stand for, right?
Yeah.
Completely useless beyond September.
They get they get you all like kind of get your hopes up and stuff. Yeah, I've seen this before.
All that smack talk all year long. Where did it get you?
I didn't do any smack talking.
Watching the games at home with the Cardinal fans.
I did zero smack talking because I had a feeling this would happen.
Oh, well.
Completely useless.
You could say I don't have faith or whatever, but I don't. I didn't have faith in them. They were too inconsistent.
I'm not done with my buddy RB on this subject either because he's been on me all year long about it. So
about how the Cardinals stink.
This conversation is not over.
I did not want to have to eat crow from having to say, that's not fun.
Just a heads up on
completely useless beyond September.
The games that happened yesterday, the Rangers won. They beat Tampa Bay 4-0. The Twins beat Toronto 3-1. The Diamondbacks beat Milwaukee 6-3. And then the Marlins lost to the Phillies 4-1. So you guys would have been set up against the Phillies, I guess it looks like, Christian, but said the Marlins.
Yeah, we would not have. Had we made it, we would have gotten bounced in the. I guess that's better at making it, but it wouldn't have been pretty either way.
Hey, do you have a loan with a variable to balloon interest rate? That's going to be a problem when your term comes up and you got to reprice the loan. Why not get ahead of it with a long-term fixed rate from Farm Credit? They have the longest terms in the ag industry, assuring you with some peace of mind down the road when it comes to the finances of your farming operation. And at Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. If rates begin to drop, easily readjust your rate with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. They just make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com. Farm Credit is an equal housing lender.
Let's bring in our guy, Richard Davenport, now into the program. Richard, to the topic I just kind of opened the segment with, how does that work for not just Sam Pittman, but the rest of the staff when talking to these guys that either have committed or trying to commit when they go through a losing streak like this?
Obviously, you talk about the games in the past week and the game coming up, and you also hit on how they're playing, their season, how their family's doing. So there's a little bit of everything that you kind of hit on. It just depends on the kid, what's going on with the kid, family wise, personally, how's school doing, and things like that. But I mean, hey, you just try to keep them on board and just let them know that, hey, we need you, and you're the reason why we're recruiting you to help us improve. And obviously, I think that they probably go over the game a little bit and kind of discuss the pros and the cons, and especially at their position, and just talk about what happened on that Saturday, and then discuss how they're going to attack Ole Miss on Saturday.
Richard, we looked at the schedule from just a sole toughness standpoint on the field. But I wonder for off the field, the inability to bring kids on campus for 4 straight weeks. I mean, how tough is that on a staff?
It's tough because you're usually talking about, hey, you're trying to get them on campus, and then you can't get them on campus for quite some time. Obviously, you can plan ahead, but that's definitely a disadvantage. Just from the standpoint, what if it's a kid that says, "Coach, hey, I'm available this weekend or on this date," and you're out of town, and then the coach says, "Well, what about the next 2 or 3 weekends?" And he may have already dates set for other visits. So to be on the road like that for that long is obviously quite unusual, and it's not ideal for getting guys on campus, obviously, and it's not ideal trying to line up visits. I mean, obviously you try to line up visits ahead of time, but I'll be honest with you, a lot of times kids make last-second decisions sometimes, and if they say, "Well, Coach, I can come this weekend," well, we're not at home. But it's something you obviously plan ahead and work around, but at the same time, it can be difficult just because kids, they have an open date and you're not there.
Yeah, and I just wonder, that last date with Missouri being Thanksgiving weekend, how available kids really are. I mean, I know for some your high school season's over. For others, you're in the playoffs, but it's also a family weekend where you got other obligations, and you only got 2 other dates in November than the one in October. So it really puts a lot of pressure trying to fit the pieces of the puzzle together to get people on campus for the experience.
Yeah, if you're a family in the region, it's not too difficult. Even though a lot of times, families kind of like to, have several days of being together beyond Thanksgiving. So sometimes a mom, mom usually makes the decision on this stuff. We know that. And Aunt Betty and Uncle Ray, they came all the way from, so-and-so, and you're going to stick around here, and we're going to spend some more time with them over the next few days. I think that could be a little difficult, but for the most part, they still have a pretty good amount of kids show up for that game.
Yeah, Ty kind of touched on it, but when a team's having a hard time, is that the turnoff that people on social media and people that get on message boards and people think that it just really shuts down your recruiting completely? I mean, what's your experience talking with coaches and with kids and with parents? Is this last couple of weeks a turnoff, and now people don't want to visit or they're no longer interested? What kind of feedback in general, just talking in generalities, does this create for Arkansas?
I haven't heard any kids say anything about, this is kind of a turnoff. But obviously, whenever you win, the conversations are always a little bit more positive, and kids are a little bit more excited. But at the same time, a lot of it depends on your relationship with that kid. If you have a pretty good relationship, and you're a guy that as a coach can connect with them, a lot of times that can overcome a negative negative season or a negative few weeks. But at the same time, it can create. Usually, when you're on a winning streak, it's easier to get kids to your game. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, I think you have to look at it at a case by case basis. Some kids put a premium on winning, and if you're kind of close to get them on campus, and you go through a little bit of a losing streak, that could kind of say, well, Coach, I'm probably going to go see somebody else or something. I've been talking to them for a while or something like that. But again, it's just each individual is different, and their likes and dislikes about a situation, as far as a team and how they're doing is different.
Richard Davenport with us on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Richard, I had someone send me a link of 247's talent composite rankings, talks about high school kids on campus, transfer portal, and combines it all and ranked the SEC teams. Arkansas is 13th in the rankings right now, only ahead of Vanderbilt. I mean, when you look at what's on this roster right now, do they have what it takes to compete in the SEC West the rest of the way?
Well, obviously we're going to find out, but I think with what you're facing now is, and I think every school has kind of faced it a little bit, but maybe even more so with Arkansas. You look at that first recruiting class with Coach Pittman and staff. None of the offensive linemen in that class are still on campus. And then in the first two classes, Manuel is the only one that's in the two deep. So I think we're seeing part of the reason why what's going on with Arkansas, especially on the offensive line, is that those first two classes, only one guy is still on campus. And that right there is, I think, showing up. Obviously, you had Brad Davis, who was the offensive line coach the first 2 years, first two recruiting classes. Then he left after the second year during the summer to LSU.
Mm-hmm.
The last few classes, you got you got Harris, you got Chamblee, you got Kudas. And then you got this last class, and obviously the last class is mostly going to redshirt, and then you have some holdovers from the Morris's classes. So that I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing maybe the lack of good depth on the offensive line, as far as older guys. Usually Arkansas's offensive line is much better when they got those third, fourth, fifth year guys on the offensive line, and you don't have that right now in some positions, and I think that's a little bit of a disadvantage, obviously.
Second year guy, redshirt freshman Patrick Kudas, who you just referenced, Christian Brothers High School in Memphis. He might get called upon to be center this Saturday night. I know they practiced that a little bit. Richard, did he play that position in high school too, or is that something that they're just trying to tinker with his skill set?
Not that I'm not that I'm aware of. Now he practiced at center last year,
mm-hmm.
and he was kind of the backup then. So this is not something different. But I do know. I remember going through some notes that he was talked about having a possibility of playing center in college, because he has the physical makeup of a center along with his mental makeup. He's a very, very intelligent, high IQ, football IQ guy. So, I think there will obviously be a little bit of an adjustment game situation if he plays that position. But I think long term, I think he's probably going to be your guy, especially with Limber, leaving after this year. So he's definitely capable, and I think that's probably a good move, because obviously he's going to have help at center if he doesn't indeed play that position versus being out on an island.
Richard Davenport with us on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Artie, what's your take on all this social media stuff? Coach taking his account down, other things going on with social media. Is this more of a media story? Does this have an actual real effect in the world that you cover?
Negativity is always not good for a program, but at the same time, and I was talking to a parent the other day, and every parent said, and hey, let's face it, the criticism is fine, but some of the craziness is obviously just it's not good. It's just some people just don't know how to communicate their frustration without taking personal shots or even making threats through DMs and stuff like that. I'm not saying that that's happening, that every fan base has that, and we see that throughout the country, and we see reports. But I was talking to a parent, and he took it in stride. Said every fan base has the extreme, and I think that's probably what you're seeing with some of the fans and stuff like that. But as far as Coach Pittman not being on Twitter, yeah, that's somewhat of unusual. But at the same time, you got to take care of yourself, especially when you're trying to focus on the team. And some people will understand, some people don't understand. So it's a little unusual, but at the same time, when you're going through a little bit of a losing streak like Arkansas is, every fan base is going to be upset, and they're going to let you hear it.
Well, and I'm sure when Alabama lost to Texas, there were some things that happened in that state on social media that was probably less than desirable. And, it's one thing for a 60 or 61-year-old man who's the head coach to deal with it. But when he was talking about, being a counselor to some of his players, I mean, we all think of these players as grown-ups. They're because they're full-sized adults physically, but emotionally, anyone that's raised kids knows that, hey, you don't usually have it all figured out. And when we look back on our own lives till, somewhere in your mid to late 20s is when you kind of usually put it all together. And there's a lot emotionally to deal with when people are, I guess, coming after you or attacking your closest friends in the world on social media. And the idea that these kids are just going to turn it off, put it down, not pay attention, I think is also unrealistic as well. So there's another aspect to it that the coach has got to provide some kind of cushion or sounding board or however you want to phrase it for these players to emotionally deal with this. And I don't think that's exclusive to Arkansas.
No, not at all. And Sam was 100% right. Obviously 20, 30 years ago, you didn't have social media, and whenever you went through a losing streak or something like that, or some hard times, kids may get emails if people were able to find their emails. But
it was the letter to the editor that bothered you more than anything. When
you
wrote a letter to the newspaper and they published it.
So it's a lot different now because if the kids have open DMs, which I'm sure some have probably closed their DMs, to people that are not their followers or what have you. But you look at what's going on with bullying and schools, and this is exactly what it is towards the athletes. But when we went to school, there was bullying, but it wasn't bullying at school. Was it bullying online? It is a different world, and then you got cowards out there, cowards that DM kids or send crazy threats or what have you towards these kids. Yeah, that'll mess with you, and it'll mess with the parents too. I can promise you that. And I really wish that, we've heard of death threats at Ohio State, a few other, Notre Dame. I'm sure it happens at Arkansas and all the other schools in the country. I would like to see schools prosecute those guys. If you somehow you could find and track down people who send those threats, I'd like to see those people prosecuted. I really would. I think we got to slow it down at some point.
I just handle it a little different. If you want to attack that athlete, then and you want to make a threat, you're just brought to the football center and you got to say it to their face, and then whatever happens happens.
Yeah.
That'd stop it.
Well, yeah, that would stop it. But I mean, obviously they're cowards for a reason, and
exactly.
They're obviously not going to do that. But I really would like to see people like that prosecuted, because they hide behind fake names and all that. They don't have the guts to put out their real name, and they need to be exposed. And that would kind of slow it down a little bit. It wouldn't stop it, but it would slow it down a little bit.
Go ahead, Mr. Porkjowl. Tell Mr. Chamblee here what you think about his protection at left tackle.
We'll
just stand back and watch.
That's the thing. That's what I try to tell people.
76, tell us what you think.
That's what I tell people. I say, I have a written rule to myself. If I wouldn't say it to person's face. I'm not going to say it on social media. And, of course, a lot of these people, and I've had some conversations with some people about that. And it's, oh, yeah, I would. Yeah, I wouldn't. No, you're a coward. You wouldn't do it. Yeah. Sorry.
That's probably fair. Richard, we appreciate your time this morning, man. We'll do it again next week, hopefully after an Arkansas win in Oxford.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, Richard Davenport and all of our guests join us on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Brought to you by our friends at Vici Aesthetics and Wellness this morning. Went for a weigh-in yesterday. Down 2 more pounds, Ty.
There you go.
Yeah, at the all-time low I've been since working with Vici Aesthetics and Wellness. So 2 more pounds down, and I'm telling you, the change for me to tear a zip tie about 3 weeks ago has been great since then. I'm down 9 pounds total, and in 3 weeks, I guess the third check-in. So this thing works, and it will work for you if you're looking to get some weight off before the holidays. And you get to my age, Ty's age, your metabolism still works. You get to my age, and it's slowed down a little bit.
When's that stop, by the way?
Somewhere about the 3rd year of marriage. So
jeez, I'm good for a little bit.
Got a little while, but so I mean, if you just need a boost or some help, and some friends that have, had some success on the shot, as it's called. This is where you go and get with their medical staff and their doctors and put together a program that works for you. It's worked for me. It will work for you. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness. They're in Northwest Arkansas, but they can do virtual appointments and get the program to you through their virtual appointments in Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. They're right here in Northwest Arkansas. If you want to see them, just call or text 479-343-8424, 343-8424, Vici Aesthetics and Wellness.
All right, back to the McClarty Daniel hotline. Sardis, Arkansas, where our friend Melvin is this morning. Melvin, welcome back in, buddy.
Oh, Davenport enlightened me on some stuff that's pretty frustrating, really. Sam's a great offensive line coach, and there's no lineman from the first 2 recruiting classes. Next thing he said is, that you hear a lot of this cross training. It ain't work. How come you don't go get a center from the United States that can hide the ball like you want him to, and get guards that are guards and tackles that are tackles, and stop trying to put a round peg in a square hole? Do you ever think that could be part of the problem? They overthinking. They think they're smarter than what they really are. I mean, a man that's played guard his whole life seems like he's going to be better than a guy that's floated around from,
But here's the only push. A lot of times when you're the best lineman on your high school team, you have to play left tackle if you've got a right-handed quarterback, because you're the best one to protect the blind side of your quarterback, depending on your offense. Oftentimes you see guys that are the quarterback on their high school team, right, Melvin? But they get to college and they play a different spot because they're not a college quarterback, but they were the best athlete on their team. I think your point's got some validity to it, but I think it also depends on the size of school you came out of. Because generally, if you're good enough to play in the SEC, you're probably the biggest and best lineman on your high school team, which probably in theory makes you the left tackle, not a guard, because they got guys that are just a little bit smaller and can play that interior, because generally you want the smaller, quicker guy inside and the biggest, fastest and fleet of foot guy outside, right?
Well, but my comment is, though, if you're a great offensive line coach,
yeah,
should you kind of see where that man be playing when he comes and joins your team? I mean, I ain't saying you got to be perfect, but shouldn't you have hey, did you have Ty picked out for a brain surgeon or a radio host?
Thank God, at radio host.
Is there a third option?
Yeah, Melvin. I get your point, and I think if we look at the 4 years that Sam Pittman's been here, you would think that he would have one elite offensive line. 2 years ago, they led the Power 5, referenced in the open, but they still haven't had an equivalent to what they had in 2015. Maybe next year, I don't know. They definitely don't have it this year.
Hey, we're headed behind enemy lines, headed to the Grove in Oxford, Mississippi. Our coverage tie this week is brought to you by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, one of my favorite places to get a pie.
Yeah, me and Big C will be there tonight. Excited to have some before I head off to Oxford tomorrow. It's the best pizza in town, not just in town, but all of Arkansas. If you're ever popping in the River Valley, or if you live here, whatever the case may be, stop by and try the best pizza you've ever had. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. The best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world. Hour 2 coming up. Let's hear from Coach Pittman and KJ on Rocket Sanders.
Tommy Craft for the Fence Man. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV. Semaglutide and Teraziptide is a weight loss game changer. This is what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas and Missouri, in office or telemedicine visits available. To schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical providers for safe and effective weight loss, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
This is The Morning Rush.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we are rolling out Rath Auto Relief. Now through midnight on Halloween, get up to $1,500 Rath cash when you purchase any one of our Rath Road Ready vehicles. Use it to pay your sales tax, get extra for your trade, or just take it right off the price. Plus, follow us on Facebook for fun-free giveaways every week. Rath Auto Relief. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, Fort Smith.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtech Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtech prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtech Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtech Technology without the headache.
Wes, we're trying to figure out the best pizza or it's free guarantee. Can you help us out?
Well, Billy, if a customer don't think our pizza is the best in Fort Smith, I'll give it to them.
But what if everyone says it ain't so?
Then God bless us. We're in the wrong business.
No offense, but do you got a screw loose up there?
My daddy taught me if I'm offended, it's probably true.
Do we need to call a doctor?
No, Billy, I'm fine. Great pizza comes from great ingredients made by great people. We have all those things.
Great's a big word. I don't think I'm great.
That's not how I see it.
I'm great? Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Wes?
Yes, son?
I don't like your pizza. Can I have a free one?
Let me tell you what, if you're that hungry, I'll give you one.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. If it's not the best, we'll give it to you. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
Bow hunters, the season is here, and Gelco Outdoors has all the hunting supplies you will need. Cover scents, mosquito and tick repellent, headlamps, face masks, gloves, boots, clothing, ground blinds, blind chairs, feeders, nut grub, deer corn, feeders, saddle, hang-on, climbers, and ladder stands. Gelco has the largest selection of bows in the area. Good luck and safe hunting from your friends at Gelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Mostly sunny sky today or high this afternoon in the mid to upper 80s. Chance of a few stray showers and storms tonight. And overnight low in the low to mid 60s. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms returning on Wednesday are high into the middle 70s north and right around the low 80s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
You kick the butt of the best football team in America. Yeah!
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3.
This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light. Please drink responsibly.
You know, we've got a great offensive line coach, the same one that led the Power 5 in rushing 2 years ago, and the same one that everybody tries to get it when the season's over with. Off the field, I have several questions about what we're doing, how we're doing it, this, that, and other. I wanted to be conscious that I didn't want to overstep anybody's boundary as the offensive line coach because we've got a really good one. He'll get it fixed as good as anybody can.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
And welcome into hour number 2 of the Morning Rush. We've got some things to get into involving Rocket Sanders. You heard Coach Pittman there when asked about how much hand he has within the offensive line, not just in practice, but during the game. That was his response. And again, when talking about Cody Kennedy, their offensive line coach. Now, it is nice to have Rocket back. He had some plays in the Texas A&M that got you a little excited that he is back on this football team healthy. And hopefully he'll be even healthier this Saturday night against Ole Miss, where he had his best game last year, went off against the Rebels. Quinshon Judkins did the same against LSU. Both guys looking like they're back into form heading into this Saturday. Before we talk about what KJ and Coach Pittman had to say about their star running back, I want to tell you about our friends at Razorback Camper Sale. Fall camping season is here, and they have everything for you. Huge selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, pop-ups. They offer full prep and setup, no extra cost, so you can leave the lot and start camping immediately. Best parts, best service department in the state. They've been doing it for over 50 years. Come see why our customers are always happy campers in Hot Springs or online at RazorbackCamperSales.com. Let's hear from Coach first. Again, he's talking about Rocket Sanders earlier this week.
I don't think he was 100%. It'd be hard for me to think, he'd be out for 3 games and then, be able to come in there and just, I do think he brought a spark to the team as far as being back and all those type things. But I think if you watch the game, I don't think you would think that he was at 100%. Still got a little fluid there, but he'll obviously be better this week than he was last week. He went out there and played hard and all those things, but I don't think he was the old Rocket yet, but I think he certainly will get there.
11 carries, 34 yards, 2 catches for 36 yards, including a third down conversion on the first drive. So, again, not fully himself just yet. Here's what KJ said about his running mate.
I mean, he was just wanting to knock the rust out, get back into the rhythm of things. It's kind of hard sitting out and then trying to come back and then pick up where you left off. This week, I mean, he's approached it like a vet, been very mature about the situation, just been working his tail off in practice and focus on the little small details that's going to help separate him and help get him into a groove early on in the game so he can play a huge factor in the game. So he's been having a great week so far. And like I said, I mean, just knocking the rust off and get back into the rhythm of things and get back to playing how he want to play.
Tommy, Quinshon Judkins had over 30 carries last week against LSU. Yeah, and went off against the Tigers. He's been plagued with injuries like Rocket has. These two went back and forth last season in Fayetteville. Could see the same thing on Saturday night. I know Ole Miss's defense might take some issue with that, but it should be a good performance from both those guys.
Well, and you're hoping to see a showdown, I guess, so to speak. Even though they're not on the field at the same time, but a battle of the backs or whatever you want to say. Neither one have been healthy for, like I said, the year, and Quinshon's come back better than Rocket has at this point. I don't think that's really a fair assessment, but neither one of these guys have put themselves in an all-conference selection position at this point. But, man, Judkins had a great week last week. Is Rocket due that kind of bounce-back performance? This would be a great week to have one like that.
I think Rocket was one of our only bright spots of the offense on Saturday. I think he had some moments where, I mean, he ripped off a pretty big run on that screen, and he had some hole. I mean, he was seeing the hole pretty well. I mean, he did okay.
I think they'd be afraid with that knee right now to feed him 33 times like Judkins. They're just clearly Judkins is in a healthier spot than they feel like Rocket is at this point. Maybe this is the week that they could. I'm not saying give him 33 carries, but, lean on him a bit more.
Yeah, and I'm curious, Stan Enos called a lot of run plays on first down, didn't get a lot of yardage. Chuck referenced it on Monday. Arkansas had an average of about 9.5 yards per third down. He completed three or four of them on the first drive, and then after that, you weren't able to really do anything on third down. So you've got to get in more manageable situations. If you do call a first down run, you've got to pick up more than 1 or 2 yards, which they did too many times on Saturday. Rocket's going to be a key to that. He's not the only one. Rashad Dominion, as good as he played against LSU, didn't have much of an impact against A&M. We saw Isaiah Augustive at the tail end of the game, a little bit of A.J. Green in the second half as well. But Coach mentioned on Monday, running backs, they've been in situations this year, as they were last year, where they're in one-on-ones. You got to break that first tackle. That is how plays are set up a lot of times, where you're just mano-a-mano against either corner or safety or linebacker. You've got to make a guy miss. And too often this season, the running backs haven't been able to do that.
Would like to look on the stat sheet, regardless of the numbers, and see, the average go up. Rocket had a 3.1 yard average on carries last week, 11 for a net of 34. You need that to be 4+ this next week. And to your point, Christian, he caught is really more run than catch, but it goes down as receiving yards on that screen. He had 40 yards after catch on the 4 passes he caught, but 36 total yards. So that tells you how much running he was doing, how much downfield passing it was. So, I mean, to me, I know that goes down statistically as receiving yards, but you could really combine those 36 yards of receiving with his 34 yards of running, and those were really all rushing yards in many cases.
And he's got to get going in order for, again, Arkansas's offense to be fluid. KJ Jefferson addressed it yesterday. Hey, Ole Miss, Arkansas, it's always a shootout.
Every time we play Ole Miss, it's always a shootout. It's always a battle. It's always a war, and it's always excitement. I mean, that's what you come to the SEC for. So it's just two great teams just battling and let it all hang out.
This has been the best series in the last 2 decades of any opponent Arkansas has played. You can say LSU, but there's been times that LSU has just obliterated you. I think from a competitive balancing standpoint, like Ole Miss and Arkansas are more similar from the talent than you would see Arkansas and LSU. And Arkansas plays LSU pretty well, but again, 7 of the last 12 have been decided by single digits. You think about 2 years ago being the best game as voted on by ESPN, the Hunter Henry Heave 8 years ago back in 2015. This is a series that Sam Pittman has been a part of, and now Lane Kiffin being introduced to. That's been a lot of fun lately.
Yeah, and it's a swing game. I mean, we coined the phrase during COVID or right after it about beating the M's. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Missouri. These are swing games that define the season when you're amongst those groups of schools. So I don't think that's changed. That hey, these are the swing games that will define success or failure for football at Arkansas this year.
Ole Miss is always like one of those games that you can get. I mean, yes, on paper they're better than us, but they're not unbeatable.
They're ranked 16th for a reason. But you're right. This is a game, regardless of rankings or records, Arkansas's been in. And you go 3-0 against those three I just mentioned. How we define the season will be a lot different than the current conversation. That's for sure.
And Cam Ball mentioned it last night. He thinks Ole Miss is going to overlook Arkansas. Tommy, you made a good point in the last hour. Ole Miss does have a bye next week, so it's not like they're looking ahead, but maybe they're looking ahead of, hey, if we get through this week, we can finally take a break. I think there's some truth to what Cam Ball said, as there would have been in the LSU game, plus the emotional win beating the Tigers in the Magnolia Bowl last week.
I think they're looking back, not looking ahead. A lot of their conversations still centering on the win last week. Hey, I didn't make it to Taco Tuesday at Joe's Grill and Cantina yesterday, but today you can get to Nacho Average Wednesday. They got $1 off on all nachos, and when you order nachos there, they bring you a heaping platter of nachos, and they got a variety on the menu. So $1 off those. Also $1 off all draft beers and bottled beers today. And you can try the all-new ballpark-style pork nachos. That'd be good for some baseball. Get you a beer and some nachos at Joe's and watch some baseball. That sounds like a good plan on a Wednesday. Don't forget, tomorrow is Throwback Thursdays. They bring back some of the old Cuco's platters that made them famous at Joe's, so you can try those out as well. It's all at Joe's Grill and Cantina. And don't forget, half-price apps and taps during the game on Saturday night. Joe's Grill and Cantina, South 74th Street in Fort Smith.
Behind Enemy Lines in Oxford is presented by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria in Fort Smith, the #1 place to watch football in the River Valley this fall.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Childs, please! Touchdown!
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never far away. Always online at McClartyDaniel.com. Join the local conversation on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963.
The Golf Nut has been Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994. Needing help with your game? Call Matt Brooks with over 10 years of experience in the golf industry. Call him today at 646-4430 and schedule a lesson using the simulator. The best selections of clubs like Callaway Paradigm, TaylorMade Stealth 2, and Peen G430, along with a wide assortment of shoes, apparel, and golf bags. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, your one-stop shop for everything golf.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
It's never scary when you buy from Harry Robinson, Buick, and GMC. Dependable service, deep and wide selection. Saving prices guaranteed. Professionals you can count on. Find what you're looking for. We're your Buick headquarters and a GMC truck superstar. It's never scary when you buy from Harry Robinson, Buick, and GMC.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
So what's your beef Wednesday? So pretty easy to sneak in our beef this morning in our Morning Rush Daily Question. If you've got yours, feel free to call or text in. My beef, one of my couple beefs this morning, is the Taylor Swift phenomenon that has swept the National Football League. Now, just a little backstory. I like Taylor Swift. I like DQ. I don't know if I would say that my infatuation with Taylor Swift reaches her level of fandom. In fact, it's not even close. But this needs to come to a bitter conclusion as of right now.
Why does it need to be bitter?
You're saying they need to? He needs to break up with her or cheat on her?
No, I'm not.
That's what some people have said.
That Travis Kelce. I'm not talking about the relationship.
Be the worst thing he could do.
I know.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the relationship between Taylor and Travis. I'm talking about the NFL trying to form a partnership. And I get what they're doing. I mean, it's marketing. You've got tons of ladies that don't care about Sunday Night Football. They care about Taylor Swift. And I get it from that standpoint, but the football fans are getting tired of it. And so it's like the catch-22 of
they?
It was cool for about like one game or two.
Are they? I mean, ratings are up. Jersey sales are up. Everything's up. You say they're getting tired of it, but all the metrics are up.
Again, what I'm saying is those fans, they're bringing in new fans that have never watched Sunday Night Football or don't make a habit of doing it, but because Taylor's being featured, you've got her Welcome to New York song as the opener for Sunday Night Football. They're zooming to her anytime Travis Kelce does something. They do it even without it. I mean, again,
more people watching that have never watched before. How is that a bad thing?
But how much people?
That's what I'm saying. But it's affecting the normal football fans. They're like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm just sick of seeing it.
They're not turning it off. I mean, the numbers don't prove that.
Okay,
but they're still getting frustrated and tired. I think most of our audience, if you watch Sunday Night Football, or if you're a Chiefs fan, you don't necessarily like the overinflation of this relationship to this point. And I agree with you. It's bringing in a new section, new audience that you've never had. But the NFL is going over the top in all this.
Well, they're milking it for what it's worth. They're being good businessmen. I can understand the fatigue of it. particularly if you're a Chiefs fan and you're watching every snap of every play. And it's a mutually beneficial relationship, partnership. It's not a partnership, but it's mutually beneficial. But I'm not so sure who's getting the better end of the deal. Is Taylor Swift's fandom and her fame growing because of the NFL more than the NFL's has grown because of her? I think she may be bringing more to the table than the NFL is, and that's a mouthful. Yeah. That is a mouthful.
Cody texted in, Travis Kelce has gained 900,000 plus social followers. Gordon from Charleston says Ty is right. Football fans are tired of it. Sean from Alma says he can do way better. Hog Mafia said he won't.
Whoa. Time out there. How can you do better than dating Taylor Swift right now? I don't know how you could, in the celebrity world, how could you do any better than Taylor Swift being on your arm?
It's not just about the celebrity aspect, Tommy. You didn't marry Laura because of her celebrity status.
Well, and that was a two-way street. When they're not getting married, we're not talking about a Kelce Taylor Swift marriage here. There's no engagement. There's no nuptials being planned.
Man, imagine the amplification if there is an engagement at some point. Oh,
it'd be like a royal wedding or something over in England, man.
I don't
British
think
royalty.
I don't think Andy Reid. Apparently, Taylor is a Philadelphia Eagles fan. When Andy Reid was the head coach of the Eagles, they had met at some point. I don't think Reid likes this. I bet he thinks it is distraction, which it is, to be quite honest. Hog Mafia said he won't watch the Chiefs until she's gone. Michael in Cave Spring says, I think the moment that the Chiefs lose, they will call Taylor a distraction, and she won't be back for any game.
You've got a lot of stars in that locker room, and they're in awe of her. I think it's interesting to see how we think these football players, and like a Patrick Mahomes, man, there's no one more famous in the world than Patrick Mahomes. In our world, that's true. And then someone like Taylor, and it opens my eyes. Then someone like Taylor Swift walks in the room, and like people like Patrick Mahomes are in awe of Taylor Swift. And you realize that, outside of our sports world, which is wildly popular, and the NFL is wildly successful, obviously, there are a handful of things that are bigger. And I wasn't alive. I wasn't young. I was too young. I wasn't old enough to understand the power of Elvis back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Garth Brooks and his fame. This might be the wildest, biggest thing that I can remember. This is Beatles level, Elvis level, Garth level, and maybe plus one.
Yeah. And for example, Monday Night Football happens, and Joe Buck and I almost just said Taylor Swift. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman refused to talk about it, and I think a good faction of the NFL fans appreciated that. Again, Taylor wasn't there, but it still took place in New York to that point. Again, I don't have any issue with Taylor Swift. I actually like Taylor Swift. I enjoyed listening to her music when I was in high school. I'm not going to lie, I don't follow her as much anymore. I know that my sister's a big fan. A lot of female friends I have love her, some male friends as well. But she isn't the same draw to me as she was years ago. That all being said, this is starting to get on my nerves a little bit when more of the focus seems to be on her than the actual football game itself.
It shouldn't be the leading story all season. Like, it should eventually die down.
And I don't know if it will, to be honest.
But sometimes the game's not that interesting, and that is more interesting. It just depends on the game itself. We got to realize these are shows. These are to provide entertainment. If you're the announcing crew, you're the network, you're to provide entertainment and content value to the viewers. She brings that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rick brings up a good point that, hey, at some point she'll have to resume her world tour. At what point does football become a distraction to what she does for a living? I don't know I have no idea what goes into that world as far as rehearsal and practice and writing, because we know she likes to write a lot of it. At what point does she have to say, all right, I've had enough of this flying around, jet set, and going to football games. I got to get back to being a musician, because that's her deal.
I wonder if the NFL could use her for marketing.
They have.
I know
they already have.
Even more specific, like commercials or whatever.
They can't afford her.
And you also have, because of what it does. So, for example, Sunday Night Football happens. They take a break. Something happened with Kelce, and immediately it shoots to a Taylor Swift commercial. So you've got, again, and her audience is not just females. I want to be clear about that. I don't want to get Al Michaels here and get criticized for that. but a good chunk of our audience is. And so you've got these moms, you've got these wives, you've got these daughters that are watching Sunday Night Football, in some cases for the first time ever with their dad. Then a Taylor Swift movie commercial pops up. Dad, we got to go see this together. Babe, we got to go see this. Son, we got to go. And then it's, again, I would say to your point, like Cody says, she has benefited more than the NFL has.
The only thing I can equate to this, as you were talking, it made me think about Tiger Woods. Because you're right. People, like in my household, my wife and daughter would be far more likely that we haven't watched Sunday Night Football because of her. But if I had it on and she was on there, they would be in the room to watch that, if I made it, a point. Because she is that kind of draw. Tiger Woods is that kind of draw for golf. That's the only thing that I guess moves the needle as much as anything. Not that more people aren't watching golf as a result of. Let me back up and phrase this right. A lot of people are already watching football, but she moves the needle in the same way that Tiger does for golf. Not in the same numbers or masses, but she is a needle mover like Tiger is. I'm not wording this correctly, but I hope you get the essence of what I'm saying.
You could argue it's more, Tommy.
I mean, from a percentage standpoint, however you want to look at it. I mean, 15, 20 million people aren't watching the Masters, but we know what the difference is in audience when Tiger plays versus when he doesn't play, I guess is what I'm trying to drive at.
Reed from Fayetteville says, invite Taylor Swift to Oxford. Maybe she'll distract Lane Kiffin. I think Katy Perry is the Ole Miss fan. If we're going to get Lane distracted
Wasn't she the guest picker 4 or 5 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago?
That's another one that would be pretty big if, Katy Perry was dating Travis Kelce. That'd be kind of not quite the same magnitude. But.
No. I mean, there's not an artist in the world right now on Taylor Swift's level. And I couldn't name you an album or a song. But I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out.
DQ's got my pickup line corked up for this weekend, and it features Taylor Swift. Jimmy from, I guess, Horatio says that I'm sounding like an old man get off the lawn guy. Again, maybe I'm turning into an old man when it comes to this Taylor Swift drama. Big C.
And here I am all for it. I'm here with my popcorn ready for it.
We've switched to this.
And again, I'm not a Swiftie at all.
Okay. Well, that is your, again, Morning Rush Daily Question presented by Red River Dodge in Heber Springs. Your beef this morning, mine's with the over-infatuation of Taylor Swift. What's yours? You can get in here with us on a Wednesday.
Red River Dodge is in Heber Springs. They are Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. You can log on at redriverdodge.com.
Jimmy is in Conway, Arkansas this morning. Jimmy, welcome to the Morning Rush, buddy.
Top of the morning to you, fellas. Hey, I've got an issue with what Coach said, what you played a while ago. He doesn't want to step on anybody's toes. That sounds like some inexperience to me. This is his team. If they don't perform, it's his head.
Jimmy, let me say that is what's being said publicly. It's a whole different world privately and in practice.
And his actions have spoken differently. The way he overhauled the strength and conditioning staff, he's made changes on. I mean, this is the first time since he's been here you've had your D-line coach back for 2 years in a row.
Correct.
I mean, Jimmy, he's been willing to make changes. He can say what he wants to kind of fit his public persona, but he's been a hard butt when he's had to be and let people go when he's needed to.
Do you not think he would get a lot more support if he came out and said, I am going to get this fixed. We're going to get it fixed. Instead of saying, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to let him do it,
Well, that's
Chad Morris say something kind of along those lines.
Yeah, and Jimmy, he didn't. So what he said in regards to, again, he was asked about the question of his hand presence during practice and games, and he said he was less hands off during the course of a game, and he more hands on during practice. And if you've watched any clips online when he is in practice, I mean, earlier this week, I know Hogbeat had a great clip of him very much in the midst of the offensive line. This is a guy, again, it's one thing what coaches and players say publicly. They don't want to cause a rift in the locker room. They don't want to cause a rift in the coaching directive. But what they do privately or in practice is completely different. And the other thing is, regardless of what he said, you've lost 3 straight. You're going to be mad at him. And I understand that. I do, because I was ticked off after the BYU game, sad after LSU, disappointed after A&M. But it doesn't matter what Sam says. People are going to be frustrated with it regardless, I think.
Amen, brother.
No. If they win on Saturday, you don't really care what he says after the game. You're just happy they won. Now, hopefully, again, he'll be like, this is a good start. We need what he said, Jimmy, is like, we just got to get one. And he's right. I think, again, KJ and the rest of the team feels that way. And hopefully they do. So
just don't come out. What was it Chad said? I am the guy? Or something along. I can't remember exactly. But, I mean, strong statements and trying to be in a position of strength and what you presented, you know, that doesn't always mean the results are going to follow.
Everyone gets said something to the extent of everyone gets a vote and I get one more vote than everyone else. Yeah, again, there's
I am the guy.
And Sam may be like that in the locker room and in the coach's room, but publicly that's not the persona. And I don't know if that's the one you necessarily want to take. That feels insecure to me when you have to bang the gavel and say that every once in a while.
It's not who he's been for the previous 3 seasons. I don't know why he'd changed that as far as the media, but we've all heard enough, talked to enough people, talked to people that have been in and now exited the program. Sam leads this program. There's no doubt internally who's in charge.
You don't want your leader to throw people under the bus. You don't want to. You don't want him to do that. We saw that with Chad Morris. He threw his players under the bus. I mean, that doesn't help.
Yeah,
doesn't add anything.
Well, and a lot of these words. I mean, a lot of things that are said in press conferences are just bluster.
Yeah,
I mean, they just are. You know, that's not just with Sam. That's everywhere.
Big Mike has phoned in this morning. Big Mike, welcome in, buddy.
Y'all was talking about it was Taylor Swift. I figure Kansas City fans probably mad at her because she goes through boyfriends like people go through socks. I figure if she dumps him about December and he falls apart, there's going to be a lot of people mad as hell.
Well, the Chiefs haven't looked good.
As for the Razorbacks, well, they probably won't win much this year. We usually have a couple of good years and decent years, then we have some bad years, then we go back and have a couple of good years. So that's the way I feel about that. I still listen to them, watch them, and all that. But yeah, wait, see what happens. You know, if she goes through her usual thing where the boyfriend's gone. See if he falls apart. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, thanks, Big Mike. Yeah, Taylor Swift has dated a number of different celebrities. Travis is honestly probably lower on that list. He is, quote unquote, as you're saying, dating up than she, and she's probably dating down relative to who she has dated in the past at this point. I know you have an illustrious history and knowledge of that, don't you? Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully this doesn't continue. But
man, how would we can't even understand that kind of fishbowl that you live in, where people are even having the words you just said. Well, they're you got to rank the celebrity status of the people that's on. I've heard other people, the roster. I've heard that referred to with like Jeter and other people. Come on, let's get. I just can't imagine living in that world where everything is so scrutinized because you're that big a celebrity.
Laura was probably very drawn to your celebrity status when you were doing radio. That's probably one of the reasons she married you, because
right after
of
my good looks.
The social aspect.
Absolutely.
One thing it has done is it's taken the heat off of, or the spotlight off of, Patrick Mahomes' wife, and all that.
Thank goodness.
All that annoying stuff that she likes to do. And
Patrick, I love Patrick. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I love Patrick Mahomes, but Brittany Jackson, I'm not necessarily with the rest of that family. Patrick is about as fun to watch and as fun to listen to as it gets, but the rest of that family, I'm not the biggest fan. So, all right, let's get back to football. So we've had questions again about the offensive line and the changes to this point. I want to go back to something that Coach Pittman said about Patrick Kutas and some of the other adjustments you might see on the offensive line Saturday night.
It's been good. We made a couple of adjustments up front. Those guys have handled it well. The main thing is being able to make sure PK is building confidence, getting his confidence level up each and every day, him getting back at center and making sure everybody's on the right page as far as communication with him, and me telling them just, take it one play at a time, start with the snap first, and then just let your confidence build up and just let your instincts take over at that point.
That's obviously KJ, not coach there, but just talking last night about the adjustment for a young underclassman who's transitioning. He played backup center last year, if you listen to Richard, in hour one, and now could play it on Saturday night. The adjustment with them moving some pieces around to this point. That would mean Bo Limber is not going to be playing center anymore. And Cam Ball was asked about some of the changes he saw on the offensive line. He's one of your defensive tackles. Here's what Cam said about practice and what he's seen the last 2 days.
I think they'll handle it well. Kudus was playing some center in the spring. Brady, he's very versatile. He can play tackle well. And, I save the best for last because when it comes to Bo Limmer going back to guard, man, it's a scary thing. And I haven't seen it in a while. So when we did have like a good on good period today and I seen it for the first time, I had to, buckle my chin strap a little extra because Bo doesn't have to worry about getting the ball back to KJ anymore. So he can just come off full blast.
I'm not an offensive line expert, but I think it's fair to say Bo Limmer is probably a better guard than he is center, Tommy. But
that may be true, but the other question that has to be asked, is he the best center on your team?
Yeah.
I mean, that you may be right that he's a better guard than center, but is he the best center you have available? Because I've never known very many offensive lines that were really good that had a bad center.
No, you're
or
right.
had someone that was deficient at center. You got a gap to your left and right, and you got to snap the ball. You better be strong there. So you may be right about him guard. I don't know. But if he's the best option you got on the roster to snap the ball and to run things from the middle, then he is your center.
Yeah.
Period.
And
no other option.
We think about one of the best rushing attacks we've ever seen with Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and Peyton Hillis. Zanking your center, a Remington Award winner, and Jonathan Luigs, and had some other good offensive linemen there as well. So.
Well, had a run there for a while, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, Andrews, Peters. I remember talking with Marcus.
Just at center.
Oh, just at center. Who are some – you have got a better Rolodex on that off the top of your head outside of Luigs, who's –
well,
you had Ragnow at one point, but who's – you got to help me in the 2000s.
Wait, is it PA? Which one?
Yeah, it went to Pulaski Academy.
Yeah. So, I mean, you had 2 or 3 candidates there at a time for the Remington Award. So, I mean – that was kind of an area kind of like tight end. You always seem to find somebody that was an elite center of it. Again, I go back to what you're saying. Yeah, he may be better suited to move left or right to guard, but if you don't have anyone better than him at center, then he is your center.
Yeah, it's all for naught at this point. And I know it's been frustrating to a certain extent watching this offense at times this season, and I get that. It's hard not to be. Even KJ's been frustrated to a certain extent.
That's pretty frustrating at times, of course. I mean, just knowing that we have a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, and when things not going our way, it kind of get frustrating at times, but it's football. I mean, it's a roller coaster. I mean, so the main thing, we want to try to take control of the roller coaster and stay level-headed, stay neutral, make sure we bring everybody close together and just stay together is the main part when we hit adverse situations, just coming together as a team and bonding as one. So on the offensive side, I mean, it do get frustrating at times, but as long as we keep our heads and keep chopping away, I mean, it's going to eventually start falling in our favor.
And we saw in the A&M game a frustrated KJ Jefferson, and for good reason. He was sacked 7 times. There's 15 tackles for loss, communication issues that he talked about after the game. I don't know how much of a change for the better you'll see on Saturday night. I'm hoping that's the case, but with potential changes to the offensive line, you're going to have some bumps again on Saturday. It's just hopefully not the amount that you had against the Aggies.
All right, we'll have all of our coverage beginning. When did we settle on a time? We're going to start at
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock for our pregame, so noon for our football update, and then 12:30 for Give Me the Hogs Chuck podcast, and you're on from the Grove at 1.
Yeah,
so
going to be live. Thank you to the communications director, Brad, who's letting us do the post and pregame from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. So I'm excited about that.
All right, so that'll be fun. And our Arkansas Game Day coverage brought to you by the Stadium Shop in Fayetteville and by KC Insurance. Hey, we want to congratulate Kelso Hott, the kicker at Mountain Home, who a couple of weeks ago had the game-winning kick at the horn to win for the Bombers. He was our Shamrock Roofing High School Player of the Week last week, voted on by you, the listeners. And we're back for another week of our High School Player of the Week presented by Shamrock Roofer. Go to shamrockroofer.com. This week's nominees, Drake Lindsay of Fayetteville. Listen to this. He had 535 yards of passing and 6 touchdowns in their win over Rogers, which was maybe as good a high school game as there was in the state last week. Drake is a Minnesota Gopher commit, plays for Fayetteville. So he's one nominee. T.J. Brogdon from Hot Springs. He's a senior, and he tied a state record Friday with 5 receiving touchdowns and a total of 162 yards for the Trojans and their win against Hope. And our third nominee is Jackson Daly of Alma. They had a big win over Farmington. Daly had 320 yards of rushing and a total of 7 touchdowns for the Airedales in their win over the Farmington Cardinals. So you can vote online. Go to hitthatline.com, click on Player of the Week, and cast your vote. You can vote once an hour, every hour. We'll announce the winner next week here on the Morning Rush, and congratulations to Kelso, and good luck to Drake, TJ, and Jackson as our nominees for the Shamrock Roofing High School Player of the Week. Go to hitthatline.com and click on Player of the Week. Brought to you by Gaston's White River Resort. That's where you can relax and unwind, and maybe you can figure out the offensive line woes or figure out what needs to happen with this running game. You know, I find sometimes when you just get out there in your waders and get in a steady stream, if you're doing some fly fishing, that's when your best thoughts and maybe your most sound logic comes to you. Get one of their expert guys to take you in the boat, go out, do some bait fishing as well. It's right below it's in the tailwaters, right below the dam of the Bull Shoals Dam. And every cabin and lodge faces the White River, so you always have a great view, from sunup to sundown of the White River. Gaston's White River Resort, 870-431-5202 to make a reservation. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
Behind Enemy Lines in Oxford is presented by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria in Fort Smith, the #1 place to watch football in the River Valley this fall.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
This is the game that they are saying national championship. And we're floating in a sea of red.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we are rolling out Rath Auto Relief. Now through midnight on Halloween, get up to $1,500 Rath cash when you purchase any one of our Rath Road Ready vehicles. Use it to pay your sales tax, get extra for your trade, or just take it right off the price. Plus, follow us on Facebook for fun-free giveaways every week. Rath Auto Relief, one more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, Fort Smith.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Hardee's 2 for $5 mix and match breakfast bake goodness into your morning. Pick any 2 handcrafted favorites for only $5. Choose a made-from-scratch biscuit stacked with sausage and egg, biscuit and gravy, or a country fried steak biscuit. With Hardee's 2 for $5 mix and match breakfast, you get double the breakfast goodness for just $5. Hardee's, goodness in the making. These items only, tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Bow hunters, the season is here, and Gelco Outdoors has all the hunting supplies you will need. Cover scents, mosquito and tick repellent, headlamps, face masks, gloves, boots, clothing, ground blinds, blind chairs, feeders, nut grub, deer corn, feeders, saddle, hang-on, climbers, and ladder stands. Gelco has the largest selection of bows in the area. Good luck and safe hunting from your friends at Gelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV? What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Call Jason Hill in Greenwood or Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey. Oh, yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush.
Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
This past segment, we were talking about our potential high school player of the week. And, Tommy, we have KB in Russellville texting on the McCarty Daniel hotline that apparently TJ Brogdon had 5 touchdowns just in the first half alone last week. So, again, we've got some good nominees this week if you want to go to hitthatline.com and vote for those. All right, time to get into our Hog Update this morning. Arkansas's lost 3 games in a row. How is the team approaching that to this point? Here's defensive tackle Cam Ball, and, hey, we've been here before.
Our freshman year, we did lose 3 in a row, and Coach Pittman put a little word together with the 4 Bs. I don't know if anybody remember that, but we went on a run and finished 9-4. So that's basically what we're looking to do here instead of lose another game. But also at the time, we just have to get our first win just to get things back rolling.
No one expects this team to finish fine at 9-4. At least I don't. Maybe there's a really, really optimistic Hog fan out there that believes that's the case, but you can't let go of the rope at this point. I'm hoping you'll see a solid bounce-back performance against Ole Miss after probably your worst performance of the season in Dallas. We'll just have to wait and see till 6:30 Saturday night.
7 games left. 2-3 now? So is getting to 6-6 really the realistic ceiling? I'm not saying they're going to go 6-6, but I mean if you're being a realistic fan with 7 games to go, and the record's 2-3.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting bowl eligible. All right,
all home wins, most likely. All road losses.
I think you'd take them any way you get them right now, right?
Yeah. End up in the Birmingham Bowl.
I mean, I'm just saying, 8's off the table in my head.
Oh yeah.
I just want to see improvement, obviously, in the offense, and just something for next year. Because if Enos, if this coaching staff stays intact, you just want to see improvement all year.
The improvement needs to translate to wins. I think people are listening right now are tired of moral victories. I get your point, but
there are no. Yeah, at this point, you won't win.
I mean, right now, when you look at the 7 games left, there's 2 teams that you'd feel like, hey, we're on even footing going into the game: State and Florida International. I can't even put Auburn right there right now. Wouldn't you? Would you say Auburn's slightly ahead of where Arkansas is at? I mean, the way they played Georgia, I know they got drummed by A&M the week before, but I mean, Auburn's put a better product on the field to this point.
That'll be a really competitive game.
I mean, I'm not saying Arkansas can't win that game.
They got a good defensive line almost yearly at Auburn, so that's going to pose a problem, obviously. But
Missouri's better. I mean, it tastes bitter coming out of my mouth, but Missouri's a better football team.
You got a chance to beat LSU this weekend. Hogball says he's thinking 2 wins the rest of the season as he texted in on the McCarty Daniel hotline.
Be miserable.
Will from Mount Home says they need to ship Dan Enos to Europe. We've had some hot takes about Dan Enos this week.
We had someone call in yesterday saying to halftime saying Pittman needs to stop wearing black shirts. I'm like, oh my gosh, the man can't. I'm saying the man can't do anything right. That's the point to the fan base. It's like they're looking for anything.
It goes with the territory of being a head coach in college football. I mean,
Tommy's sporting a black shirt this morning.
But what difference does I mean, you wear black because it's more slimming, right? I don't understand why some people pick on the things they pick on. If you want to have a football, it's like he said, if you want to have a football conversation, fine. Getting all personal, that's not for me.
I like my Saturday Reds. Tigers, the Sunday Reds. I like my Saturday Reds. That's what I sport.
Is the color of the shirt the coach is wearing really relevant to any conversation about the team? I mean, it's just that's the craziness that drives people out of this game at times, and makes you shut down your Twitter.
I don't know what coach is wearing tonight. I know KJ Jefferson will probably be looking good. Him and Jaheim Thomas are the guests on Sam Pittman Live. Again, you can always listen to it right here on ESPN Arkansas.
Did you say KJ?
KJ and Jaheim Thomas, correct.
So
it's pretty big. Yeah. Jaheim's been probably your most consistent defensive player this season, leads the team in tackles to this point, and then, of course, number one, always brings in a crowd, and I know this game means a lot to him this week. I do want to mention, I misspoke earlier this week. I thought the Blessings Collegiate was Wednesday through Friday. It was Monday through today. Arkansas's women and men's team have shot through 36 holds, 2-round records at the event. The men's team right now is minus 13, and then the women's team is 11-0. They're both dominating the fields at
your
this
home
point.
course. Home course, you should play well. It's, I think, one of the only collegiate events, maybe the only one, where you'll see both men and women playing in the same event. And then they also at this event put the team on. So if you want to go follow the Razorbacks, their players are grouped together. So it's a unique event, and also the setup of the way it goes with how the teams are grouped, and also both men and women's teams out there. So yeah, it'd be disappointing if you didn't play well in your home course.
Yeah, so that's again, going on the rest of it. Last thing here, red-white game tonight. Again, gets going at 6:30. Eric Musselman starts talking to the crowd, 6:40 introductions, and it begins. Free admission, free parking in lots west of Razorback Road and in lots 44. It's in Barnhill Arena tonight. Do you think you could name every single player on this picture? If they
No,
they're still getting accustomed and used to. Again, we'll see the exhibition game during the bye week against Purdue, but they've split up the teams already to this point as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, that'll be fun. I mean, you got that going on. You got Sam Pittman Live, like you said, going on. We had a question earlier about radio for the red-white game. No, we'll have the Sam Pittman show on. There is no radio broadcast for it. So, the Purdue game is really going to be the kickoff, I think, even though that's an exhibition game. That's where people really, have a chance to dial in and really watch something that you can sink your teeth into.
Yep. That is going to do it for your Hog Update this morning. It is brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Tommy, it's National Cinnamon Roll Day. Are you a with icing or without icing guy?
Ooh, I can go both ways, but that icing, and if it's warm and kind of gooey, that's hard to beat.
It's hard to beat.
With milk. Ooh.
Most have icing. I mean, Calico County in Fort Smith has some really good cinnamon rolls. Theirs do not have icing, but boy, you get the heart of that thing out, the middle. That's as good as it gets.
It's also National Golf Day. What's the best golf course you've ever played?
Ooh. Well, I'd have to think about that for a minute. Best ever. Not Augusta National. They wouldn't let me on.
They have not let you on to this point. I guess you could to separate that into two categories, one inside the state of Arkansas, one outside the state of Arkansas.
Played some really good ones down there where Bruce stands at in the Destin area. There's some good courses down there. Played most of those.
We really enjoyed our time when we played outside, probably 30, 40 minutes outside of Santa Rosa. We played a really nice golf course. Enjoyed our time in Charleston playing out there. Again, I have to factor in the fact that I'm horrible, but it's still fun. So I balance that out. I just like open fairways. The South Carolina course was a lot of fun. I think it was called Patriot Point.
I'd like to say Alotian. I just need someone to take
you
to
there at that point. We're going to have Brett Norsworthy join us on Friday. Brett does radio in Memphis, is an Arkansas graduate, also is the pre- and post game for Ole Miss. He gets to go there every once in a while.
Yeah.
He's told me about it.
You got to have a connection there. You don't just there is no daily fee. You don't walk up and get a tee time there.
We are blessed, I think, in the state of Arkansas to have some really nice golf courses. I again, contrary to popular belief, I was not a country club kid, but I did get an opportunity to play in some nice golf courses like Chenal and Pleasant Valley, Northwest Arkansas, Shadow
grew up
Valley.
on the 7th fairway there, folks.
Pinnacle.
Yeah.
I'm about as middle class as it gets. I personally,
upper middle.
From a sentimental standpoint, mine was War Memorial. It's a terrible course, but it was just so much.
Not the nicest
I
course
just had so much fun. We just had so much fun every time we went out there.
You like it because you can play with your shirt off and your hat on backwards.
You legitimately could.
You had your shirt on, you didn't fit in.
There was no dress attire out there. It was incredible. So I would say from a sentimental aspect, not the nicest course, but I love playing out there.
Hey, I'm looking forward to Friday morning. We're going to be live at Wheels RV. Chuck and I will be there. You're going to be down at the Grove in Oxford. A lot going on. They got their barbecue competition going on this weekend. Their amateur barbecue cook, 3rd annual. They got nearly 30 teams involved. They're going to have bounce houses for the kids, axe throwing, face painting, mechanical bull, big savings on RVs, free barbecue, free beer, football on TVs and big screens everywhere. It's all this Saturday at Wheels RV, and we're going to be there Friday to tell you more about it. Wheels RV is 5 miles west of Exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
When we come back, I want to talk about KJ Jefferson, what Coach Pittman said about his quarterback this week.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
Nothing says summer fun like fishing with a Thill Bobber with the family. America's favorite floats by Thill are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They are great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and redworms. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. America's favorite floats by Thill.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
The Powerball jackpot from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is now more than $1 billion. So, what would you do if you won?
I'd buy a baseball team.
Ooh, I would definitely buy my mom a Tesla so that she can drive cool, look cool.
If I won a jackpot, I'll start a cooking school for the youth in the city.
Got your ticket? If not, visit your local lottery retailer for your chance to win the Powerball jackpot of more than $1 billion. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
This is The Morning Rush.
It's never scary when you buy from Harry Robinson, Buick, and GMC. Dependable service, deep and wide selection. Saving prices guaranteed. Professionals you can count on. Find what you're looking for. We're your Buick headquarters and a GMC truck superstar. It's never scary when you buy from Harry Robinson, Buick, and GMC.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Gravely's Momentus sales event is back, where you can save up to $750 on qualifying models. There's no better time to save on one of the most trusted brands of zero-turn mowers. Residential or commercial, Gravely is the most rugged and dependable mower out there, and they're on sale. But hurry, this Momentus summer sales event, where you can save up to $750, is for a limited time only, and only at your authorized Gravely dealer. Bush Machine and Tractor, 6100 South Zero Street, Fort Smith, or online at bushtractor.com.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtech Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtech prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtech Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtech Technology without the headache.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Mostly sunny sky today, or high this afternoon in the mid to upper 80s. Chance of a few stray showers and storms tonight, and overnight low in the low to mid 60s. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms returning on Wednesday, or high into the middle 70s north and right around the low 80s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Brewer to Jones for the slam. How about Matt Jones? Did he sky?
Weekdays from 11 to 2. You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith. This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
You know, we've got a great offensive line coach, the same one that led the Power 5 in rushing 2 years ago, and the same one that everybody tries to get it when the season's over with. Off the field, I have several questions about what we're doing, how we're doing it, this, that, and other. I wanted to be conscious that I didn't want to overstep anybody's boundary as the offensive line coach, because we've got a really good one. He'll get it fixed as good as anybody can.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
Some thoughts and takes are going to be flowing with Clay Henry coming up in this hour, Hall of Famer. We will welcome in just a bit, including his thoughts on Coach Pittman talking about KJ Jefferson's mentality. We know this game means a lot to KJ. Hopefully the offense helps him out. Hopefully they show up on Saturday night. Tommy, they're going to need to with what Ole Miss has on their side on offense.
Not going to be easy to go down there off the confidence they built in that win and that fourth quarter performance that Ole Miss had against LSU. We'll talk to Clay about it. We're brought to you by the Hickey and Hull Law Partners. They have grown their firm by opening offices in Mena and Central Arkansas, in addition to Northwest Arkansas and Fort Smith. Family law, parental alienation, those are their specialties, but they handle criminal and civil matters as well. They also handle commercial and business matters, if you need help with a transaction or a business purchase or something along contract law, those kind of things. In fact, their team has a combined 7 decades of experience. But if you're a dad out there fighting to see your kids or need some help with the child support schedule you're on, or maybe just the terms of your custody agreement are not being followed, the Hickey and Hull Law Partners are there for you. Again, Mena, Central Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, and Fort Smith. Call 479-434-2414 to schedule your consultation at the office most convenient and closest to you. 479-434-2414, or go online to kevinhickeylaw.com.
Clay, we've got 60-degree kickoff temperatures for Saturday night in Oxford. I know this team's ready to respond after a poor performance in Dallas. I know I'm ready to get down there, and I know you're ready to see them bounce back a little bit, especially offensively too.
Yeah, I always have to kind of, in my mind, where are we going? What's the press box like? What's the required wear? Because there's some that are open, and there's some that are closed, and there's some that used to be open that are closed, like Auburn. So you have to kind of think about it, and it's the worst thing that can happen is you get there and you forgot, oh my gosh, it's November and we're in Starkville and it's going to be 36 degrees with a 20-mile-an-hour wind, and that's an open-air press box. So you're fortunate you're going to be in a closed press box, I think, unless they've blown it up in Oxford.
We saw go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
We saw weather impact this game last year. Ole Miss didn't look like they were ready for the temperatures that they walked into Fayetteville. I don't know how much of an impact. I mean, you take 60 degrees at kickoff.
That's football weather.
Yeah, it's great weather. But the impact I see initially is the health of the 2 running backs. Rocket Sanders still coming off his injury. We got to see him for the first time since the season opener. Quinshon Judkins had a tremendous performance. Talking about 33 carries, 170 yards or something like that against LSU. It was awesome. That's a. I know they're not pitted against one another every play, but that's a matchup you have to be looking forward to on Saturday night.
33, 177, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Well, last year you couldn't help but keep track of what they were doing, and Rocket got way ahead. They were going for the regular season rushing record, or not record but lead, and they didn't they didn't have much success in the last quarter and a half because everybody knew they weren't going to pass. I'm talking about Arkansas, and Ole Miss came on. We're talking offense. You've got to be good on special teams. It's like, will that ball explode off of Cam Little's foot on kickoffs, and can he take their kickoff team out? Because hopefully you're scoring a lot of touchdowns and you're kicking a lot of kickoffs, and then you're going to have to get some stops. They did that in the first half, and maybe they don't get punts, maybe they get turnovers, and that's what this game has turned on the last few years. And they've been fun to watch. If you don't want to get up and leave the room because there might be 2 touchdowns scored. I mean, it really might. But I'm looking forward to it, and I think Arkansas will have a bounce back. And you're right in everything that you've said leading up to to this time with me, in that KJ, he does get juiced for this game. It's what, Sardis is 30 miles from Oxford or thereabouts.
Yeah, give or take. And Coach Pittman touched on that earlier this week. Here's what he said about KJ's mentality.
It was after the LSU game, and I was just talking about we got to stay together. We got to get better. And when I got through, he said, Coach, we've been here before. And it made me feel good, like we've lost 2 games in a row before, and we've come back. And he said it in front of the team. So our team, I think, is resilient. I believe they are, and we'll find out as the weeks keep going. But we've got a lot of football left, and to be honest with you, we need one. We need to get one.
And Clay, we saw he wasn't as much of an impact player last year because Rocket just toted the ball over and over and kept on scoring. But 2 seasons ago, in the best college football game of the year, according to ESPN, I mean, you could tell how much he wanted that one, and they came a 2-point conversion away from getting it.
Yeah, it was a weird game in that, Arkansas would take 6 plays, 8 plays, 10 plays, and Ole Miss would take 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And it would be, okay, we're right back out here. And, hey, boys, defense, we need to we need y'all to stay on the field a little. It's usually the other way around. You want the offense to stay on the field, rest the defense. You know, you got the feeling that some of those offensive line guys were dragging a little bit. And you're right, there were a shovel pass away from winning that game. You know, I wonder if this might be a game where you see a little bit more of Dominic Johnson. You know, maybe tight end. You know, they're not saying that. They're not telling us what. And I certainly don't go to any practices anymore. But they've got to do something different at tight end. And it might be Gums, might be some H-back stuff with Dominic.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because they were moving Haas around kind of like they did Hunter Henry years ago, putting him in a slot or bringing him in. You know, I think they call it a sniffer. Or some teams do, some coaches do, where you're kind of that guy, or they put you in motion. I mean, utility player is what I think sums it up. And Dominic could maybe be in that role. I don't know how much you'd line him up next to a tackle just to chip off a defensive end, though.
Yeah, how big is he? I mean, he's more of a pass catcher, isn't he?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
6'1".
Yeah, he's not a
250.
He's not a Nathan Bax type, size guy. But that flex him out. They've got to get more production with their wide receivers. You know, that's always part of the answer. Is okay if you lose something here, maybe you don't replace all of that with one guy. Maybe the ball goes in some other places, but it's listen, they've got to get, and we're just we're kind of dancing around the elephant in the room. Is we got to get those tackles playing better, and they've addressed that. We'll see how Brady Latham does out there at right tackle, and can Devin Manuel and Andrew Chambly, maybe they step up a little bit on left tackle, but they got to be better at their tight ends and helping in the run game, blocking. And we're all jacked up about quarterback sneaks or whatever, but they've got whatever play they call, they got to execute better than what they've done at some points this year.
And I thought Coach said something that I don't think it's been discussed enough. At least we haven't talked about it enough. I think we hit on it once. But moving Devin Manuel off the tackle slot's not an option because mentally he's behind because he missed so much of camp. He needs the reps there.
Physically, too.
But he needs the reps to catch up with the routine and reacting and not thinking. And so taking him out of that role and moving that piece on the chessboard is not going to help a thing. So, I mean, you also got – the repetition part of it here, Clay, that some of these guys got to learn to spot, and there's so many reps you got to have in order to master it.
It's going to be loud. Those folks, that's I always say that when you're going to the Grove, 11 o'clock is the best time to play those guys, and they'll have the chandeliers out. Ty, you'll roll through the Grove, don't you? I mean, there's some scenery there that's worth it.
There's no question about it. I love Fayetteville, Arkansas, but I don't know if Oxford, Mississippi is topped when it comes to scenery in that.
They red
section.
shirt Miss America's there. Is that the old phrase?
Yeah, I got some. I got some intel, and I need you to go after 25 and above. Okay.
25 and above. Okay. But
just think about for your future wife. When you get to 65, you don't want her having, you want her to get to Social Security too. You don't want to have to wait on her.
That's a great point.
I mean, I know you don't think about these things, but they're real. Just trust me. Tommy, am I telling the truth?
1,000%.
Yeah. So when you're picking your mate, 1 or 2 years either way. That's how you do it. And the other part about it is that young one that you pick now, she may not want to care for you when you're 66, 67, 68. She may say, I think I'm going after the 52-year-old. Yeah. And just trust me, you guys got all these attorneys on the hook here. Just ask them what kind of cases they're representing. It's like it's those young women leaving those old men. Yeah.
Well, I hope that whoever I do choose.
You never thought about that, did you?
No, I've actually talked to a few of my friends that are in that age range. And
go after them the same age that you are. There's some pretty ones out there.
There's no question about that. But back to what's going on at Vaught Hemingway.
He
Rather
just
than,
needs one to go after him.
Anybody wonders what we're talking about, Ty ended up having a couple of dates at Baton Rouge with a young one, right?
Yeah, he's 22.
Okay, 22. Yeah, and you're what, 36?
Close. 28.
Yeah.
I wished you would act your age.
Yeah. The receding hairline trick play again.
No, but the point of the story is that the Grove is fun, and I know you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, we've got our tailgate set up, and I'm excited. I've been back there in 8 years, so excited to get that. I'm excited to see.
You got a tailgate set up.
We do. Yeah, we.
So tell me something unique about your tailgate. What y'all have got planned? It could be food. Could be tablecloths. You got tablecloths, right?
Yeah, our friends
got to have them.
Our friends,
chandeliers,
not chandeliers. Our friends' our parents have a full menu of what they're making that day. There's like 15 items.
Good.
And it's
all right. Somebody else is in charge. That's a really good thing.
Yeah, it's pretty lavish stuff. But again, I remember what happened.
Are you bringing anything, or are you just going to show up?
I paid money.
Are you going to show up and freeload?
Oh, you gave them
contributed money.
Okay.
Hey, Tommy, you're going to get the receipt.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do that for a tailgate, but you're going to get one.
I'll put it in this expense report. I was going to, do
It'll
my own
be hidden
money.
somewhere.
It'd be hidden. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty open about the expense report. I don't hide anything. I'm straightforward. This is what I spent down at this place.
Hey, there's going to be a meal in Memphis that he's got a receipt for.
For $100.
Check the date.
Yeah.
Check the date because it might not be on this weekend.
I'll get my good reading glasses on when I approve.
No
this
question.
Oh.
Yeah. It's going to be. Hey, this is all. We're I'm getting away from the main subject, but it's going to be a fun game, and I think Arkansas will play well. And I know people are. They're discombobulated right now, confused because it's not what they thought they were going to see. Got a lot of new players. They're still they look like they're behind in bringing them all together, and I don't think they're not going to be mad at me for saying that because it's pretty obvious that's what's going on. They just hadn't got a mesh yet. Offensive line, and it's playing guys that we. Guys, I got to keep the roster right there by my chair when I'm watching on TV. Like who's that guy?
Mm-hmm.
And and as soon as I look up, I remember him. I just hadn't memorized the numbers yet.
So we started the conversation with the offensive line and moving those pieces around. We were talking about it during the break, and I wanted to run this past you. Some of these moves is to get more experience next to inexperience, so that when there is a motion or a stem from the defensive line, there can be that verbal and nonverbal communication of not miss an assignment. Some of this is about moving experience out to where it can help the younger player.
Yeah, and especially when you're playing on the road, the noise level, and you say something, you think you're loud enough, and you probably were, and you see hand signals. I watch on the NFL, and you see those guys up front. They're making they'll make hand signals when they line up, and almost at the snap, they're pointing another direction, and it's like we thought that I was going to reach for that guy. I'm going the other way. I'm going to reach for that guy because they just moved, and that's what's going on. And they're a young offensive line or an immature offensive line. They give them a lot of stuff, and the only way that you're going to get through all this is just to keep playing. And I think Patrick Kudus has played some center before, and that might be his position of the future. Don't know. But Brady Latham has seen it all. He knows, he should be able to react. But they've got to get their edges better. And Devin Manuel is the guy on that offensive line that if you say 5 years from now, what's his ceiling? It's the highest. But he doesn't always play like that right now. And I talked to Cody Kennedy in August, and it was a day that I watched Devin Manuel with Tommy Tice for about 10 snaps, and then he was nowhere to be seen for about 2.5, 3 weeks. And Cody was really high on him and said his ceiling is high, but he probably will make a bonehead. He didn't use that word, but he'll probably have some mess ups, and so will Kudus, and that's materialized, and probably more so than they thought, particularly at left side because Manuel has missed practice and he's missed games. And it's not just that he's missing practice, it's because he's hurt. And so if you're not full speed and you ask your body to do something, I mean, man, I got aches and pains all over my body, and I don't know what it's like for a football player.
Yeah, I think the remedy during the course of the season doesn't always work when you're having to battle it out each week. So.
Yeah, but I think he might be the best one, and he's certainly the best one for long term. And you saw Andrew Chamblee. He's still young. He's still learning. I know that Dan Enos, when he came here, part of the reason was that he looked at these young offensive linemen and knew that in time he would have what he needed, and it would be a Sam Pittman offensive line. It just hadn't happened quite as fast as probably any of us, including those coaches, thought it would.
You were talking about the defense earlier. Here's Coach talking about the improvement he's seen from Travis Williams' squad.
We're giving less and less explosives. We're where we're supposed to be. I think our guys are really taking to the fellas, and I believe in them and things of that nature. And I just think they're playing hard and they're playing sound football. And we have a few more players depth-wise than what we had last year, allowing us to do that, I think.
Depth's going to be tested a little bit this week. Probably
a little bit.
Yeah. Dwight McLaughlin probably out. We'll see about Jashad Stewart and John Morgan as well. So you're going to have to see that to this point. I mean, you look at A&M in the second half, Clay, only one field goal. And again, you had the interception. You had a return for a touchdown. You had the special teams touchdown. I mean, defensive-wise, you did everything. Now, first half was bad, but you got put in a bad situation at the tail end of the half. But second half, they were pretty much a stone wall for most. 3 forced turnovers. Offense just didn't help them out.
Yeah, and you had the same kind of situation at LSU, but it was just flipped. You had pretty good first half. In fact, 29 minutes are really good. You give up the touchdown, on the 48-yard pass, 49, whatever it was on the next to last play of the half, and that flipped the momentum, and that was a bad play, guys. I mean, that was more than just giving up 7. It's where you gave it up, and it's also frustrating because it's right after you scored and you thought, we're going to the locker room and we got control of the game and we've played a great half. And you could have sent LSU to the locker room thinking they smoked us and what are we going to do? And then they get the ball first and the game is completely different the rest of the half.
Woke the crowd up too.
Yeah, and it's so what this is really simple, but it's hard to do. You can win at Ole Miss if your offense is consistent, you don't turn it over, don't have penalties, which they proved. They set the standard last week. Now maybe they should have held a little bit. They didn't have any holding penalties. Maybe they should have grabbed them a few times.
I thought if we fixed that they'd win the game. That's clearly not all there is that goes into it. Hey, we're brought to you by
can't give up pick six.
Nope.
Can't have a punt return. Can't have penalties. Then you're in the game.
Yep, got to take care of the football as well. Riley Farm Dental is at the entrance to Riley Farms. They have every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, whether you got little kids or grown kids that absolutely need someone to help take care of their dental needs. General dentistry, braces, implants, cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer are there to take care of you and your family. And now they offer same-day crowns as well. So if you need assistance, you've had a crown come loose or something, some kind of dental emergency, same-day crowns are available at Riley Farm Dental. 479-226-3500 is their number, 226-3500, or online at RileyFarmDental.com.
You had 4 MLB games for the start of the playoffs yesterday. Texas defeated Tampa Bay 4-0. Minnesota beat Toronto 3-1. Arizona handled Milwaukee 6-3, and you also had Philadelphia beating the Marlins 4-1. You've got more games on today as well, but the MLB playoffs are underway. I know for Cubs fans, Cardinals fans, and some other fans listening, it's no longer a big deal to you, but we do have some Rangers fans, we have some Braves fans, and we have some other fans, Dodger fans, that I know are excited about the upcoming postseason. When we return here on the Morning Rush, we're going to get more into what Sam Pittman had to say yesterday, including what he had to say about Varkey's Gums. Luke has out for the season. What can Arkansas do at the tight end position? We'll hear what Coach said next.
Behind Enemy Lines in Oxford is presented by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria in Fort Smith, the #1 place to watch football in the River Valley this fall.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch, big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
To design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we can do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote. Get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I appreciate Ty, you and Tommy having me on this morning. It's always great to join the morning rush.
Dominion stays in at running back, but KJ's going to throw. Fade down the right sideline. Broden's in the back of the end zone. He caught the ball. Well, he didn't catch it, but they throw a flag.
Well, the ref said he didn't catch it.
They may take another look.
Yeah.
Please rate and review the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Give us 5 stars to help us get our content out to the rest of the Razorback family. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Start Eric Musselman there. Red-White game is tonight. Gets going a little before 7 o'clock. I know we've been football heavy this morning for good reason. It's Ole Miss week. But you do have some basketball to look forward to. Free entrance to Barnhill Arena if you want to go. For a lot of non-season ticket holders, this might be your only opportunity in person to see this basketball team.
And let's talk about that in just a second. First, let me talk to the business owners, business managers. If you're the person in charge of your company's website, or you're thinking about starting a business soon and you need a website for your business, our friends at Matchstick Studios and Modular Orange have a great platform and a great product that's turnkey. They write, design, host, launch, secure, do everything that you need. Come up with the content, get it set up with the keywords for SEO, all of it for $95 a month. And here's something they're doing right now through December the 15th. When you have your website done with Modular Orange, they're going to donate $50 to the Arkansas Children's Hospital, Northwest Arkansas Auxiliary, in your name, in your honor. And there will be a star that's available to put up in your business or at the hospital to honor the gift that's going to be made in your honor. So that's between now and December the 15th for Modular Orange. Get more details online at modularorange.com or call 479-755-3043, 755-3043, or again, modularorange.com.
I know my excitement level for Arkansas basketball is really high. Can't wait to see what these guys can do against Purdue and some regular season games, including Duke. And I know your excitement level for the football team might have subsided a little bit after 3 losses in the first 5 games. And when we look back at what we thought this team was going to be, I know I said 8-4. That's not probably going to be the case. Clay, based on what your expectations were and based on where they're at this juncture, how do you feel about this football team?
Yeah, I guess I thought they could get there and that this was an improved team as far as talent and, more importantly, depth. And I'm not sure, their depth is really what you want as far as, top-end players at some positions. Obviously, they didn't help themselves with the portal and at offensive tackle. They got Braun at right guard, and he's been okay. I'd say up and down. He's kind of feeling his way around with the new offense, like a lot of these guys are. But what I kept telling myself is that, okay, Arkansas addressed a lot of their needs depth-wise with the portal, and probably with the exception of Mississippi State, everybody else did too. You look at Auburn, and they got a lot of guys that weren't with that team last year. They got a new coach, ramped up the enthusiasm with Hugh Freeze. But Texas A&M was really beat up and battered in the offensive line, and that was the story of their season. They could not protect the quarterback, and that's what I worried about. And I didn't make any predictions because I thought that because of NIL and portal that everybody's play in the SEC. If you didn't go out and find, the players that you needed to kind of fill in the holes or the depth, then you weren't trying. And I think that we understand that in the SEC, everybody tries. When what's the slogan? It means more. No, what it really means is we got more, and we'll spend it, and you can spend it. And so you have to temper, your optimism with what everybody else has, and there's no easy outs. And it is. And every time that I look through history, and I thought of this as I watched the 3 practices, they're not scrimmages. They're not full contact. They're not tackling to the ground. The defensive ends are, kind of rolling around the offensive tackles, and they might touch KJ. They may just go around and leave him alone so they can, finish the passing game, not break down the practice. I knew that if you look back in history, when you didn't have tackles, that is, quarterback's important, running back's important, but those tackles are really important. And they obviously have realized through, these last 3 games that their tackle, Kudus is not getting it done. They think Manuel will, but I think they're probably eyeing that position pretty closely too. Do they need to change things? Left tackle is really hard to play, guys. Well, it is hard.
And, real quick, you don't go to the portal and just wave the wand, and it's not like there's 50 great tackles to choose from.
Yeah, and a lot of their portal guys weren't here in the spring, so you're doing some things in the summer with meetings, and you can coach them to a little extent. You can be out there, and the strength guys can coach them a little bit in what we're doing, technique, and we can line up in football formations with no ball. It's still, you got 3 scrimmages, and you say, well, you scrimmage more. Well, you scrimmage more, and you'll exhaust your depth before it gets started. I think Alabama is the only team, and they know that their talent is 3 deep, and they take risks in scrimmages. And I've talked to Alex Mortensen and Dan Enos and some people that have been there that are not there. They scrimmage a little more, and it reflects the way they play. But they're willing to, wipe out a position with a scrimmage, and they've done it. They did that at outside linebacker a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Interesting to see if they change that moving forward, because their depth's not what it was just 4 or 5 years ago. Hey, we're brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. The end of summer sale is still on for a few more days. You can get savings up to $12,000 right now on your in-ground pool. Get it designed and scheduled and be ready to swim next spring, swim next summer. So if you've peeked over the neighbor's fence and saw their pool and wish you had one in your own backyard, now's the time with special savings at Burton Pools and Spas. Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com. They build more than pools with Burton's. They build long-term relationships. Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith.
Behind Enemy Lines in Oxford is presented by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria in Fort Smith, the #1 place to watch football in the River Valley.
This video is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch, big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
When a hailstorm comes to the River Valley, homeowners have doubts on what roofing company to deal with. That's why it's better to contact the experts that are local. That company is Construction Masters Roofing, a locally owned company that's ready to change the roof on your home. Construction Masters Roofing is insured and local, specializing in hail claims and replacing windows, siding, and gutters. Construction Masters Roofing, located at 225 North Greenwood Avenue in Fort Smith. Call for a free estimate, 479-648-8888 or 918-859-4724.
Doe's Eat Place, serving award-winning steaks, has now added lobster tail and salmon to the menu. You can also enjoy delicious appetizers along with your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Doe's Eat Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Call 784-9111. That's 784-9111. Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
All right, let's get into our SEC update. So the new change in the summer that went down with fines for storming the field was finally enacted this past weekend when Ole Miss stormed the field against LSU in a last-second stop when they beat their rivals. And I had forgotten about this until I actually see it. So Missouri stormed the field against Kansas State after that 61-yard field goal. The $100,000, again, that cycle was reset. It used to be a $50,000 fine for the first offense, and there was $100,000 for the second offense. $250 for the first is now $100, $250,000, and then $500,000 now. Tommy, Missouri had to pay $100,000 into it's like an SEC scholarship fund, but Ole Miss had to directly pay LSU that $100 began because it's conference to conference. That's the new rule that's been enacted.
The money goes to the offended team, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also saw Clay. I don't know if you've seen this. It was on social media, but the video. That's where it was really blown up. The video of the LSU player punching the Ole Miss fan who got up in his face, and I don't think we've spent a lot of time on that. Spent any time really on that that happened. But that's the reason these fines are there. To keep things like that from happening.
Yeah. You're protecting players and you're protecting the fans because they're not equipped to handle an offensive tackle. You guys probably don't remember this. I'm sure Ty doesn't, but 98, they lost back-to-back games at Tennessee, and we forget that they lost the next week at Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have a kicker. Todd Latterett had, like he had open container on Dixon. I think that's what it was, and he missed that game. I don't know if you'd miss a game for an open container violation now, but Houston left him at home, and they lost, and there weren't a lot of Mississippi State fans there. So when you say storming the field, you're talking about 50 to 75 fans, not 3,000 like you've seen at some of these games. But anyway, the last play of the game, Arkansas was on the field, and their players are kind of trudging or walking the length of the field to that south end zone. And here came a fan, and Russ is carrying his helmet because the game's over. You don't need to have your helmet on then, right? And this guy gets right in his face and is waving his hands at Russ. And Russ hit him with a straight right and just splattered his face. I mean, the guy was out on contact. And, blood. I was down on the field. You go down the last 5 minutes, and I'm walking across the field, and there's fans running by me. They're not saying anything to me. They don't know who I am. And then I saw this guy run up to Russ, and he took it for a little minute. And when he started kind of waving his finger in his face, I don't think Russ knew exactly what the guy was going to do, poke him in the eye or hit him. Well, Ty, you don't remember Russ Brown, but he bench pressed about 580.
Yeah,
left guard. Brandon played right guard, and I have never seen a quicker straight right. And you had to be right there to see it. And then he kind of jogged off, and one of the assistant coaches, saw it. They took his pads off and took him down a back stairwell and put him in. State troopers go to Ole Miss and Mississippi State. I'm talking about Arkansas troopers. And they took him on to Columbus, Mississippi, or whatever that that town is there, where that Tri Airport is,
mm-hmm.
regional, and put him on the plane so that the police couldn't get him. Well, as it turned out, the Mississippi State people saw it too, and they knew their fan, and they arrested him. They didn't mess with Russ, but that's why you don't let that happen. You cannot, and you got to be ready and hold your composure if you get hit in the back of the head with a beer can or anything else, because that stuff was coming out of the stands. The students are in that north end zone. And I hate that people decide they want to throw mustard bottles and cans and bottles. You didn't have to face the bottles at Baton Rouge because they won, right?
Correct.
But that could have happened there. It has happened. And, you take a notebook down there and put it over your head when you're leaving the field. I forgot to tell you to do that, Ty.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't have to worry about flying whiskey bottles or anything like that.
No question.
But, yeah, that's a reason. So, first time that's been enacted since the new rule change in the SEC. I saw Brett McMurphy of the Action Network put this out. The USA Today came out with the latest salary. Nick Saban, of course, on top, over $11 million that he makes. Now, these are just public institutions. We don't know about private, but these are, again, the top dogs. Saban's at 1, Dabo's at 2, Kirby's at 3, Ryan Day at Ohio State's 4, Mel Tucker was listed at 5. We know that's no longer going to be the case. Brian Kelly's at 6, Jimbo at 7, Mark Stoops is at 8, Josh Heupel's at 9, tied with Lane Kiffin. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the top 10 coaches in college football and earned salaries are hailing from this conference.
And those are all 10 and above, right? 10 million and above. Lane's down at 9 at the very. So you got to be at least at 9.25 to pass, one of the top 10s. And you think, well, that's a lot of money, but I think they earn every bit of it for their school. I mean, there is no. I was told
Saban's not paid enough.
I was told my brother, they wanted to go from like a 3-story house to a 1-story house because of their knees and hips. They're over 75. They couldn't find a 1-story house, within 5 miles of downtown Tuscaloosa because of the prices. So they went to Kansas City and bought a flat opposite Andy Reid. But it's just crazy. And so the property values all around that stadium have just, it's quadrupled, and that's because of Nick Saban. He's worth that to their school. Enrollment, all those things.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you've got Alabama, so you would think it would be mostly filtered with Southern kids, but it's not. I mean, they've got kids from all over the country that attend that university, and like you said, it's because of Nick Saban at this point. Last thing I want to touch on here in your SEC update, and I brought this up with Tommy and Richard earlier. Clay, Arkansas ranks 13th out of 14 teams in this conference from the 247 Talent Composite. Now, what's that composed of is the high school recruiting rankings, the transfer portal recruiting rankings, and the guys on campus. I just wonder, and you've got some good recruiting classes at least committed to this point, but I don't know how Sam and his staff overcome it with the lack of insight. They've got to be really creative in the way they get kids to campus that are high caliber players based on where everything is with the Arkansas ranking standpoint.
Yeah, I don't feel badly about where they're headed. Are you talking about what they have on their roster now?
Currently,
right?
what they have on the roster.
Yeah.
According
so, the first year that he was here, that was COVID, and that class disintegrated. It just, for whatever reason, their evaluation, they weren't able to get in homes. They, back-to-back 2 and 10, that just didn't happen. And so they're fighting an uphill battle. So I think they've done better with portal this last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've got that in full swing. I don't think it was really in full swing the year before, but I think that they embraced this is what we have to do. And then you've got to make sure with your NIL that you keep your players. And I'll be interested to see, and I'm on the outside. I'm not clearly I don't pay any attention to recruiting. I don't know what NIL numbers are, but they've got to do things to keep their good players, like those running backs. And I think they have. I think, Isaiah Augustov has been well taken care of. He's a bright talent, and we saw just a glimpse of him at the end of the game, but he is a stud. You've got to keep Luke Haas. They're just so, but it goes down to if there's a guy on the 2 deep that you think can be a starter, man, you got to keep him. You got to do, you've got to recruit in the off season with NIL with your roster, and that's what I'll be watching. Because let's face it, what he's got to do. You've just given us the numbers, so it's got to be about development. It's got to be about the strength and weight program. You're let's see. We're starting month 10 of the Ben Soward's time. I'm not sure that's enough to really judge, what he's done, because I think weight room work, it's about what you do 2, 3, 4 years, especially with offensive linemen. You're not going to turn those guys around in two sessions when I'm talking about that, a winter and a summer. So that he needs more time. But so it's got to be about development. That's always been the ticket, with Arkansas. I point back to 98, 99. I'm going to get to hear Houston Nutt, and he's going to talk about, what Don Decker brought to their program. And now everybody else has got good strength program. You're not going to suddenly overpower anybody, but you got to be even, and you've got to develop. And so you've got to recruit high school players, some, and then you've got to develop and keep them. You can't let them escape.
All right, that's your SEC update. It's brought to you by
too long an answer.
By World of Wireless. No problem. World of Wireless can get you installed with Dish before this weekend. Plans start at under $80 a month with World of Wireless. You'll get a whole home DVR that you can view in every room, HD in every room, voice-activated remotes, free movie channels. And if right now you're a DirecTV customer or have been in the last 6 months, you get a $300 bonus for signing up right now. World of Wireless is at 877-305-DISH, 877-305-3474. Pulled up the Bet Saracen app, guys. Arkansas is getting 11.5 on the line against Ole Miss, plus 325 on the money line, and the over-under is 63.5, Clay. I think this is going to be a shootout, so Bet Saracen over-under 63.5.
That seems light, doesn't it?
I would go over. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, thank you all for bearing with me. I'm battling a sinus infection. Dr.
Yeah.
Hageman got me on some good stuff, but thank you all for bearing with me.
Yeah, I can
my
hear
voice today.
It's I've been there. It's a struggle. Here's one other thing. Bet Saracen app. You can double these up. Hogs plus 11.5 and the over at 63.5. Get that for 270 plus 275 on the money line. So, Bet Saracen app plays for some of the fun, some of the entertainment during the game.
I would think that, like you said, the over-under in that situation might be attractive for a lot of Arkansas fans based on how this series has gone before when it comes to Arkansas Ole Miss being a shootout. KJ thinks it's going to be a shootout. I don't know if Sam necessarily used those terms, but I think he's leaning towards that being the case. Defense needs to stop. Hopefully they'll have a good, productive second half like they did last week.
Okay, I want you to have a productive trip to Oxford.
Okay.
Just remember, no 22-year-olds.
No 22-year-olds. I will try and heed
You can do it. You can do it. And, just act your age. You don't want to, but I think that's something that you've got to learn to do.
My Uncle Rob agreed with you. He texted in this morning, Clay, on the McCarty Daniel hotline saying that he agrees wholeheartedly with Clay Henry. So I will heed my uncle's
Those
advice.
are not criticism, it's coaching.
Yeah, it's good coaching. It's constructive criticism, the good type of
I've seen that you take coaching, so I'm inspired.
I do my best. Well, that's going to do it.
Enthused.
Thank you. That's going to do it for us here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. We'll be back at it tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Semaglutide and Terraziptide is a weight loss game changer. This is what the medical community is